He made kind of like a throwaway dumb comment. That's the part that got ultra amplified by JK Rowling. One of the main calling cards of TERFs, so trans exclusionary radical feminists, is that they're upset because they feel like trans women are invalidating the woman experience and that trans women are invading women's spaces. And that when women, because they view trans women basically as being men that want to invade women's spaces. So when trans advocates are attacking TERFs and they're using misogyny, we've got contra tweeting at Vaush, fumbles into fumbles into fumbles into fumbles here. Bridges on bridges on bridges on fire. Vaush almost went nuclear. Uh-oh, what happened? Wait, what the hell?
She doesn't deserve me.
Oh! I could see myself totally, especially because maybe I wouldn't have made a misogynistic comment towards JK Rowling because I might have made fun of her for being British instead.
Putin is a bad racist. Put him in the ground, white or brown. And I'm in Plano town. And you know you just got found. I'm a pimp on a blimp. Unless a steak and shrimp.
Apparently, wait, somebody link me the cat thread. Apparently out of nowhere, somebody decided to come out and leak that they had sexted with Vaush. For some reason, who knows why they decided to leak this. And then make like a 30 fucking tweet thread about how bad he is. How is that relevant? I don't know, it doesn't seem like it was. It just seems like this person just wanted to be mad as fuck, I guess. Oh, this was today. Oh wait, is this like a new thread today? No, find me the, link me the original Twitter thread. Do I have to go and search for this? Here we go. I'm only making this thread because I was mildly entertained by the encounter and wanted to share a good laugh with my audience about it. Yesterday, Vaush V sent me a series of private messages saying that he really didn't appreciate the conversations I was having on my page. A few days ago, I made this tweet where I asked transgender women specifically if misogyny, even when ironic, is helpful in advocating for transgender rights. And as you see in this post, I specifically asked for people to ignore that it was posted by Vaush because for me, this wasn't Vaush specific. Even though Vaush was the person who said it, I was attempting to have a conversation about the helpfulness of this tactic. Why not? Why would you even, you know that it's going to be tainted though, because people that hate him are obviously going to say like a particular thing, right? My position was and still is that misogyny, even when ironic, is incredibly easy to avoid when advocating for trans women, especially against people who believe misogyny is the driving force for trans activism. I'm not an idiot who doesn't understand humor. I know that Vaush was joking, and I know that he wasn't serious, but my position was, as a prominent person advocating for transgender rights, his misogyny is not helpful. I'll be very transparent about my feelings about Vaush since I am constantly being pressured to express something about him or interact with him. I've had this conversation before, but here it goes again. My impression of Vaush from our personal conversations is that he is a very egotistical, self-involved person who prioritizes views and controversies that bring him views over actually advocating effectively for the people he claims to advocate for. I'm a bit older than most people who seem to be obsessively drawn to streams. The idea of sitting and watching a person ramble for hours about things doesn't appeal to me personally, and if you've watched my various attempts to stream, it's clearly not something I'm into. That said, I've seen very little of his content and engaged with him very little, but I predominantly see him in my feed in this context, where he's utilizing sexism, racism, or transphobia, or homophobiaism, or deadbeat dadism, or ironically, while apparently bringing people to the left. My position on him has pretty consistently been, I don't get it, but if he's bringing people left, I suppose that's a net positive. But I know from our personal conversations that he is a very clout-driven person who truly believes I should appreciate him. Oof. And the thing is, without any malice in this, I simply do not. I'm simply not invested in him, his image, his rhetoric, etc. And when he contacted me, I immediately responded telling him as much. Now, this may sound a bit harsh, but if I were in his position, I'm not sure why I'd care about a smaller creator having a conversation about the things I said. He very facetiously said he wanted to speak to me because he respected me, but the conversation we had didn't demonstrate that. The first thing he said to me was that he appreciates me, unlike other lefty creators, and he hasn't dragged me on stream for that reason. This is a veiled threat, but of course, since I don't watch his content, him dragging or not dragging me on stream really doesn't matter. So I told him, do it, LOL. To my knowledge, he hasn't, but I kind of wanted to make this thread in case he did, and folks are curious what my feelings on the matter are. As y'all know, when I'm bored/procrastinating, I entertain really stupid conversations, and to be clear, this is a very stupid conversation. But I was waiting for my boyfriend to get off of work, so I had some free time and entertained it a bit. Is this a thing that girls do? I had a girl DM me a few months ago saying that it was because of some shit that I tweeted, saying that I needed therapy. And then she starts asking me, she's like, how was your childhood? And so I started like playing along. I was like, oh, I was kind of lonely. And they're like, oh, but, and I think this girl thought that she was like therapying me for like 3 hours. I wasn't sure. And then I think I started memeing at the end, and then I think she got mad, and then it was like, okay, it's kind of random, but it seemed kind of weird. Who is this woman to him? Apparently this is just somebody that Vaush has sexted in the past. That's it. But, and we only know this because she decided to leak that for some reason. I don't know why. As stated, my issue with what he said was that he was advocating for transgender women while citing misogyny, and I do not at all think that's helpful. So he came up with a hypothetical to apparently prove his point. I've heard he used the same one on stream. The hypothetical he had was, say, a black man made a rap song, LOL, and it had misogynistic lyrics, and Ben Shapiro decided to argue that these song lyrics made the black community look bad. Would I tell the black man to change his words so that Ben Shapiro wouldn't feel that way? And there's a problem, of course, with the premise of this hypothetical, and I said that. But of course, big-brained Vaush wanted me to give him a yes or no answer to his faulty hypothetical. But of course, I wouldn't do that, and this frustrated him. To explain why the premise is wrong, I've always opposed misogyny in music, and this idea that only black people do it, so I wouldn't muster a defense of his misogynistic lyrics because he was black, which was his assumption. I don't know if that's a sentence or... A black man making music isn't him making some bold political stance for black people or black representation. He's a black person creating something and is only seen as a representative of his community because of racism. This black man making misogynistic music that negatively reflects on his own community is completely different from a cis man who is completely unimpacted by transphobia advocating for transgender people. What he was trying to do was reference respectability politics, which is a subject that came up in the discussion I had about this incident. In this hypothetical, Vaush is placing himself in the role of a transgender woman whose actions make the community look bad. If Vaush was a transgender woman doing things that made cis people uncomfortable, he would have a point, but he isn't. He is a cis man inserting himself into this discourse. So these are not comparable examples, even though it's clear from this hypothetical that he feels they are. More tweets to come, lots to discuss, LOL. Jesus. So Vaush was very frustrated by the fact that I thought the premise of this hypothetical was wrong, and I can only assume it's because he's used this example so many times that he thinks it's a good one. This frustrated him, and that's when he started calling me insecure, LOL, ... or ... He never qualified exactly why I was insecure, but would say that he thought I was insecure because of how many different ways I told him I wasn't personally invested in him. Not to sound like a bitch, but especially after this conversation, I get the impression that Vaush has very little life outside of his stream and that people interact with him on stream. I've been speaking a lot about falling in love lately. My daily life mostly revolves around seeing my partner in work. That's a big red flag. I've spoken pretty openly about my desire to be less online, and for the most part, I've been doing pretty good at that. I spend far more time in meet space, and that's made most of the online bullshit seem really silly to me in comparison. That's probably true. Like I said, I cannot fathom being this upset or offended by a smaller content creator speaking about me. I've said it several times, but I'm no longer even remotely aware of the times when I'm apparently causing controversy online because I'm not nearly as online as I once was. Vaush very obviously cannot comprehend the idea that I couldn't be invested in him or obsessive about what he posts. He clearly cannot imagine that the issue I have with what he said wasn't an issue with misogyny, but rather an issue with him personally, and that is bonkers to me. I devote most of my YouTube channel to discussing misogyny and being trans. Of course, I'm not going to be a fan of a person defending transgender people while using misogyny, and it truly does not matter who said it. If any of my faves decided to be misogynistic to defend me, I would immediately not see them as people I trusted anymore. It's really that simple. Misogyny sucks, and for me, the frustrating aspect of it is that it was completely unneeded here. His first tweet was fine on its own. Now, in his defense, he did start off the conversation by saying some version of, I shouldn't have said it, but the insistence on the hypothetical and his entrance into my DMs felt, of course, like a defense of misogyny, and a very aggressive one at that. Thinking empathetically here, I'm sure he's dealing with a lot of shit right now, so he's probably not exactly thinking straight. I saw one article on my feed that described him as a pedophile streamer. That probably sucks for him, but the messages he sent me were a lot. One of his main points of argument was that I personally am doing more harm to the transgender community than he is. He said that over and over again, and I laughed each time he said it with such confidence. To me, it is so incredibly arrogant to say that he, as a cis white man, has the ability to tell me, someone who lives with being transgender and has advocated and educated for and about transgender people for most of her life, that he has a better understanding of TW's needs, trans women's needs. And when I said that, this is of course where the conversation started getting really dumb. My position is not and has never been that we should always blindly believe someone just because they are a marginalized minority. It's also never been that you could possibly disagree with the person who's a marginalized. You couldn't possibly disagree with the person who's a marginalized minority. That would be an incredibly stupid argument. But of course, Vaush clearly and very condescendingly believes this is what I believe, so he started coming up with examples. Apparently, Jesse Lee Peterson believes that black people were happier during segregation, and he lived through it, experience. So he believes that he should listen to and verify his position because he's black. That was another one of his hypotheticals. When white folks talk about race like this, it tickles me because it's clear they do not understand or are pretending not to understand that there will always be a diversity of opinions and perspectives in these conversations. I know that black folks don't feel one way, but he clearly doesn't. I've spoken on my channel about how during segregation, black economic power was within their own communities. What this meant was that you had black folks spending money with black people and feeding it into their own communities. Since desegregation, a lot of businesses in black neighborhoods aren't black owned, and so what you have is black folks spending their money with people who go in rich communities outside the ones they're living in. This is an observable issue. Oh God, 13 out of 20. Hold on, my brain is getting worn down by this. I also don't care. Yeah. Okay, we can do it, guys. We gotta be warriors. I, of course, do not understand what Jesse Lee Peterson says about this, but I can assume it's something along those lines, and what he's saying is true, but his conclusion that Jim Crow was A-okay is not. And that's the issue with some of these arguments. There's a speck of truth in a lot of them, and because most people aren't nearly as invested in these conversations, they will not investigate them to actually hear beyond the front-facing argument. So the conservative white person who loves Jesse Lee Peterson doesn't dig deeper than the stance placating to him that has a speck of truth in it, and ironically, the same can be said for the very conversation we're having. One of the depressing conclusions I reached in the conversation I had was that misogyny is a bigger issue in the left than I imagine. I had to actually have these long, drawn-out debates about why maybe citing misogyny to defend trans women isn't helpful to our cause. And in that conversation, I spoke to more trans women than I would have imagined who were indeed defending expressions of misogyny because they felt defended by it. Perhaps I'm sheltered, but that surprised me. So that said, like I said, there's a speck of truth in the TERF arguments that trans women and their defenders engage in misogyny. The extraction and overall arguments they make is wrong, but these things happen. Continuing, more things to tweet. And I will hold on to the position that Vaush didn't need to be misogynistic in his defense of transgender people to JK Rowling, who, to be clear, I don't lose sleep over. I like irony and I have an incredibly dark sense of humor. I go to a lot of comedy shows and laugh at fucked up shit all the time, but I do not find that sense of humor to be productive in the advocacy work I do for transgender rights. I could respect very deeply that Vaush may indeed be an entertaining person for some people, and this sense of humor makes him a fun person to watch for some people. What I don't really respect is the clear dismissal of my work and the gaslighting he attempted to do in my DMs. Through our conversation, he kept saying, "I'm really worried about you," as though I was mentally unwell, and my tweets demonstrated that. He would also say that my actions are making things harder for the trans community and would never really say why beyond attributing criticism of him to a negative impact on trans folks. And when I said, nah, I've been doing this for most of my life, a lot of people have been helped by my work, he would say that I was being egotistical. LOL, which is so funny to me because nothing about me saying that is untrue or unverifiable. I am naturally a very modest person, but I am not and will not downplay my work nor its impact because some white streamer bro doesn't like that I don't think he needs to be misogynistic. LOL. Part of why I'm sharing this is because I know that he likely has this idea that I'm afraid of him or would take issue with him calling me out, and I can tell he didn't understand that I was laughing at him. For me, it just seems super egotistical.
Exact time and place.
True. What was that an alert for? Oh, that was for a YouTube membership. Nice. For me, it just seems super egotistical to tell a trans person they don't know what's good for their community. Unfortunately, it seems like he's really living in the echo chamber of his audience, and that's allowed him to see himself in a very grandiose way. Even if I were a fan of streamers, this attitude would be one that kind of alienated me from them. I enjoy humility and modesty and a fixation on the work, not the brand or the image. I've always stated that I am but one rather privileged transgender voice, and I am looking forward to the day where my approach/tactics are outdated/unneeded, because that would mean we progress as a society. And if the things I create are unhelpful, I've pretty much always been open to understanding why. I might debate with you, but my goal is never to harm. I talk about myself, but I only do so to present a helpful message. My fascination with Vaush's tactics stems from my lack of understanding of them. As a person alienated by misogyny, I do not exactly understand the utilization of it in defense of me, and I'm inclined to say that it actually isn't one. I spent a lot of time saying this the other day, but I don't really care to be polite to transphobes. I think being rude to transphobes is win-win, but I do think it says something when you jump to bigotry in your rudeness. Many tweets later. Jesus Christ. He gives me the impression that he sits in his own room, smelling his own farts, and is very satisfied by what he's smelling. It was just a lot, all because I said I wasn't a fan of his ironic misogyny, lol. It's kind of like Kanye was publicly attacking Pete Davidson. My assumption of him was that he was above this. My modesty tells me that I'm a nobody. Why would Vaush, who do trends on Twitter all the time, even care what I'm saying? But he obviously did and was upset. It was just an interaction I wasn't expecting, and it made me laugh, lol. At the end of the day, if he wants to talk shit about me on his stream, I give him permission to do so. For other reasons I won't get into here, I kind of doubt that he would. Ooh, but he certainly seemed to think I would be afraid of the idea of him doing so. I guess this is me playing chicken, lol. Either way, I don't care and won't be watching, and don't feel the need to clip it and send it to me if he does. Because to me, this is all very stupid, and it's just much easier admitting you made a mistake, lol. At the end of the day, if his work is helpful to folks, I think that's amazing. I'll just never understand it, and I think this will be my very last conversation where I try to. There's obviously no logic behind it. Also, I will put a tag on the end of this tweet by repeating the fact that I could very easily prove all of this, but would rather not share private messages that we've exchanged. I don't like doing that sort of thing, but I have literally no reason to make this up. This is mildly entertaining to me, and that's really it. I'm kind of tired of people asking for my opinion on him, so here it is clearly stated. I will add to the addendum that if he does attempt to call me out, which again I don't particularly care about, and I will absolutely need to prove this, I will lol. Jeez. And these are the DMs. Haha, so I'll make a confession. The closest I've been to being obsessed with Vaush V is the few days him and I sexted each other a few years ago. I won't share those messages though because they're personal. Instead, here's our relevant DMs. I don't know why she decided to include that, but all of this from the JK Rowling tweet. Man, I bet Vaush is thinking, fuck, why did I tweet that second part right about now? I thought we all understood misogyny is cringe. Doing it ironically isn't really funny to me, and I don't understand the woman shut up comment from Vaush or the discourse about it. I mean, like, you probably shouldn't have tweeted it, but I think, like, in the overall context, you kind of understand it. I think the problem is that, like, it got hyper ultra amplified, like, one part of it. But yeah, I think basically, like, he made kind of like a throwaway dumb comment, but like he, that's the part that got ultra amplified by JK Rowling. And then it's kind of, I don't know if Vaush understands this about trans issues or not, because I don't know how much, honestly, I just don't know how much he gives a fuck about trans issues. I don't know how much any of these motherfuckers care about any of the shit they talk about. But one of the main calling cards of TERFs, so trans exclusionary radical feminists, is that they're upset because they feel like trans women are invalidating the woman experience and that trans women are invading women's spaces. And then when women, because they view trans women basically as being men that want to invade women's spaces. So when trans advocates are attacking TERFs and they're using misogyny, it kind of sort of reinforces that feeling where you're basically saying like, challenge women, shut the fuck up. And then they're seeing this as like, hey, cis women, shut the fuck up while the trans women come in and take over your shit. So I don't know if, like, even in a vacuum, Vaush's comment is already like kind of on edge, but with the greater context of like how TERFs and the trans community clash with each other, it just is kind of like a really unfortunate insult to like, to go on that direction. It would be like me getting into a fight with like the black community and then being like, God, I'm under attack from all sides. It feels like fucking Planet of the Apes. And you're like, oh shit. It's just like not the best comment to make because it just happens to play into a whole bunch of like really bad external shit. And you're like, oh fuck, what have I done? And doing the like women shut the fuck up while having a trans argument is kind of like Even if you don't mean to, it's like kind of in that area, you know? Oh, we've got Contra. We've got Contra tweeting at Vaush. This is maybe the longest Twitter thread ever typed, and one of its 16 theses is apparently that she doesn't obsessively think about me. Oof, not the greatest engagement by Vaush, but okay. But we've got fumbles into fumbles into fumbles into fumbles here. I think you should think about what she's saying here instead of getting really defensive about her correctly, pointing out that your perspective on this is limited by your being not trans and not a woman. Doing edgy, ironic misogyny while defending trans people magnifies the grain of truth in what TERFs say about there being misogyny and trans activism. Maybe your tweet at JK just didn't land the way you wanted. Okay, fine, it happens. But why get so defensive about reasonable criticism? How many reasonable criticisms have you, knowing what others don't, thought unreasonable? Oh, fuck, hold on. I don't know if my brain is just drug out older. Let me try to read this sentence again. How many reasonable criticisms of you have you, knowing what others... Okay. Okay, hold on, we got it. How many reasonable criticisms of you have you, knowing what others don't, thought unreasonable? How many reasonable criticisms of you have you thought unreasonable? How many reasonable criticisms of you have you, knowing what others don't, thought unreasonable? Jesus Christ. I understand it, right? How many reasonable criticisms of you have you thought unreasonable, right? And then we have like, is this a participle phrase? I don't know what these are called. How many reasonable criticisms of you have you, knowing what others don't, thought unreasonable? That was the sentence, okay? We got it. I've talked about all this before and will continue to, and I'm happy to hear out Kat or anyone else, but I disagree with her here.
Obama.
Sorry. Shut the fuck up. I've talked about all this before and will continue.
Obama.
Stop. Okay, stop. I've talked about all this before and will continue to, and I'm happy to hear out Kat or anyone else, but I disagree with her here and have reasons to think little of her opinions. Oof. With respect, the arguments you give in your videos support my position here, and with all the associated context, the site really isn't the best place to speak on it with nuance. I'm extremely confident you'd agree with me if you were fully caught up. It just strikes me as off that you're extremely confident you definitely know better than a trans woman who's been doing this activism for over a decade, and it kind of compounds my discomfort with the women be quieter tweet. Is that really your argument that I, by way of being cis, couldn't possibly be correct in a disagreement on trans issues with a trans person? I was always under the impression that you value the quality of the argument. Oh no. Oh no, Vaush is burning. Vaush challenge, copy Destiny's behaviors but amplify them in horrible ways. Oh no, he's burning every bridge, even bridges he doesn't need to burn. I haven't heard any arguments yet, only your assurance that you're extremely confident that you're correct, and I don't think extreme confidence is warranted. Men who are extremely confident they know more than women what is and isn't misogyny don't have a great track record. If I wasn't capable of extreme confidence in disagreements I have with people whose lived experiences differ from mine, I wouldn't be able to argue against TERFs. Also, I can't help you if you're jumping into this without knowing my arguments. What do I even have to say? Or what do I even say to that? So was idpol the new SJW? Have we moved on from woke so soon? In before the delete. The tweet was deleted. Are you done being mad that some trans women disagree that being misogynistic is actually an intricate strategy for being our savior? I would be if I was ever mad at that. Nat. If that was ever the argument. So you don't defend the misogyny, but you do defend misogyny in the service of saving the transgenders? I honestly don't get it. I don't know why you, a person who generally avoids drama on this hell site, are actively dragging me when you've admitted you have no fucking idea what my arguments are. You don't normally do this. I respect you. I'm happy to type up stuff and send it in DMs. No response needed. Because it's maddening to watch you pose as the savior of the transgenders, then do edgy misogyny in the name of that, and finally melt down when a trans woman who knows more than you about this criticizes you for it. Is this not what the woke school type said to you? I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm a guy with arguments, which you've admitted you're unaware of, and still, somehow, you have strong opinions on them. I'll continue to believe what I believe until posed a better argument. Damn. We've got bridges on bridges on bridges on fire. Uh-oh, Contra liked this tweet. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Guys, keep it up, though. All right, thank you, guys. Keep it up, though. Don't get complacent.
the more of you are in the replies being like, that's not what's happening right here. Like, this is necessary, okay? Publicly shame her into changing her mind on this.
Why do people care? Have I ever done this before? This has got to be so cringe. Like, okay, guys, we gotta go on Twitter. I need to see you guys showing up in the replies. Okay, we gotta. If none of you post in the replies, we can get them. We gotta ratio them. Like, it's so fucking cringe. There is only one time and one time only when you should be calling your fan base to go to Twitter. Okay, and that's to troll the fuck out of some motherfucker.
Who asked?
What's Haas doing today? Hold on, let's check. Does he still not know what clocks are?
Obama.
True. Oh, Destiny was definitely saying that Ellen Degenerate was your stock account. Meanwhile, here's a screenshot of him streaming on Twitch literally an hour later. He's so mad about this. What fucking clock was it? So I said, do you seriously not know what a clock is? I'm just like tweeting random shit at him, okay? What fucking clock was in my IRL stream and what is relevant about it? Go ahead, become a coping schizophrenic to deny the plain fact that you got blown the fuck out personally. Personally, Bonnell, and it's just the beginning. Oh shit. Why wasn't he there when I showed up? Damn, how many tweets did he make yesterday? Oh, sorry. Read the difference between Vaush and Kat. You'll get Vaush's argument. I don't think Kat or Contra look good after those DMs. Vaush almost went nuclear. Uh-oh, what happened? Wait. What the hell?
You off this site and into... I don't want to bring up the substance abuse. You...
Oh no, Vaush is...
off this site and...
Damn, wait, Vaush does type slow. What the fuck?
Move you off this site and into... I don't want to bring up the substance.
Damn. You won't get Vaush's argument if you don't read the DMs. That's the equivalent of like, you don't understand Jordan Peterson if you don't watch a 7-hour video. Bro, I don't know if I want to read 60 pages. You could react to his stream about it. Okay, where's his stream about it? Does he have a stream where he reads the DMs? Oh my god.
It didn't do anything to warrant this level.
Oh my god. Drama meme stream. Also, apparently some people have actually unsubbed to Vaush in anger and rage over the drama too. His subreddit posted this. They got upset about it. Oh no. Oh, let's watch this real quick and then we'll listen to Vaush. When are you getting Biden on the Scuff podcast? I don't think I'm big enough to get Biden on. I could probably get like Obama or maybe Trump, but actually, unironically, maybe Trump if the right person reads the right email. He's pretty desperate for attention right now because he went on those one dude's podcast.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I want to begin by thanking President Zelensky for his passionate message this morning. I listened to it in private residence, and he was convincing and significant speech. He speaks for a people who have shown remarkable courage and strength in the face of brutal aggression.
Okay.
Courage and strength that's inspired not only the Ukrainians, but the entire world. Putin is inflicting appalling devastation and horror on Ukraine, bombing apartment buildings, maternity wards, hospitals. I mean, it's god-awful. I was speaking about this with our commander behind me here, General Milley. I mean, it just is amazing. Yesterday, we saw reports that Russian forces were holding hundreds of doctors and patients hostage in the largest hospital in Mariupol. These are atrocities. They're an outrage to the world. The world.
So Mariupol. Hold on. Okay, remember what was our first rule about geopolitical affairs? Anybody remember it? Yeah, always find things on maps. It's just good to know where things are on maps. Okay, Mariupol is over here. See it? Way over here. Just good to know. I believe that Mariupol has been one of the hardest hit cities so far, where Russia has been, I don't know if they're indiscriminately like shooting at buildings, but I'm pretty sure it's been pretty fucked. That guy was sleeping. These guys are awake. Okay. I'll read this AP story real quick, okay? Mariupol, Ukraine. The bodies of the children all lie here, dumped into this narrow trench as they're sleeping. Hastily dug into the frozen earth of Mariupol to the constant drumbeat of shelling. There's 18-month-old Kirill, whose shrapnel wound to the head proved too much for his little toddler's body. There's 16-year-old Ilya, whose legs were blown up in an explosion during a soccer game at a school field. I'm trying to think. This seems pretty crazy. Like, good luck at school today, kids. Like, remember, if the bombs are too close, like, go downstairs. Damn, they're really just going to school. That seems pretty insane to me. But there's the girl no older than 6 who wore the pajamas with cartoon unicorns, among the first of Mariupol's children to die from a Russian shell. They are stacked together with dozens of others in this mass grave on the outskirts of the city. A man covered in a bright blue tarp weighed down by stones at the crumbling curb. A woman wrapped in a red and gold bed sheet, her legs neatly bound at the ankles with a scrap of white fabric. Workers toss the bodies in as fast as they can because the less time they spend in the open, the better their own chances of survival. The only thing I want is for this to be finished. Raged worker. Raged? Ragged? Is it ragged? Worker Volodymyr Bikovsky pulling crinkling black body bags from a truck. Damn them all, those people who started this. Okay, these children are alive. Okay, I don't know if Twitch will get mad if we actually look at real fucking news. Those were just shoes, guys, don't worry. Okay. More bodies will come from streets where they are everywhere and from the hospital basement where adults and children are laid out awaiting someone to pick them up. The youngest still has an umbilical stump attached. Each airstrike and shell that relentlessly pounds Mariupol, about one a minute at times, drives home the curse of a geography that has put the city squarely in the path of Russia's domination of Ukraine. This southern seaport of 430,000 has become a symbol of Russian President Vladimir Putin's drive to crush democratic Ukraine, but also of a fierce resistance on the ground. In the nearly 3 weeks since Russia's war began, 2 AP journalists have been the only international media present in Mariupol, chronicling its fall into chaos and despair. The city is now encircled by Russian soldiers who are slowly squeezing the life out of it, one blast at a time. Several appeals for humanitarian corridors to evacuate civilians went unheeded until Ukrainian officials said Wednesday that about 30,000 people had fled in convoys of cars. Airstrikes and shells have hit the maternity hospital, the fire department, homes, a church, a field outside of school. For the estimated hundreds of thousands who remain, there is quite simply nowhere to go. The surrounding roads are mined and the port blocked. Food is running out and the Russians have stopped humanitarian attempts to bring it in. Electricity is mostly gone. The water is sparse, with residents melting snow to drink. Some parents have even left their newborns at the hospital, perhaps hoping to give them a chance at life in the one place with decent electricity and water. People burn scraps of furniture and makeshift grills to warm their hands in the freezing cold and cook what little food there still is. Cold weather. I wonder what the temperature is like. How cold is it in this place? So pretty cold. It's like below freezing most nights. Death is everywhere. Local officials have tallied more than 2,500 deaths in the siege, but many bodies can't be counted because of the endless shelling. They have told families to leave their dead bodies in the streets because it's too dangerous to hold funerals. Many of the deaths documented by the Associated Press were of children and mothers, despite Russia's claims that civilians haven't been attacked. I don't know if it's going to show like a body, even if it's covered. I don't know if Twitch gets mad at that or not. Oh, dead people and stuff. Marina Yatsko cries over the body of her 18-month-old son. Jesus. Residents gather in a bomb shelter. This looks like footage from like Fallout. Jeez. Body of a civilian lies covered in tarp on the street. People rush to the scene of a hospital attack. Bodies are buried in a mass grave. A woman is evacuated from a collapsed building. Russian tank shell hits a residential block. Oh, geez. You can just see like basically blowing up the side of an apartment building. They have a clear order to hold Mariupol hostage, to mock it, to constantly bomb and shell it. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on March 10th. March 10th, 6 days ago. Wait, I wonder what the date of this article is. Let me check real quick. This was posted 1 hour ago. Okay. Just weeks ago, Mariupol's future seemed much brighter. If geography drives a city's destiny, Mariupol was on the path to success with its thriving iron and steel plants, a deep water port, and high global demand for both. Even the dark weeks of 2014, when the city nearly fell to Russia-backed separatists and vicious street battles, were fading into memory. If geography... Mariupol is strategically important for Russia as it links separatist Donbass regions in the east with the western Russian-controlled Crimea. Mariupol has been without food, supplies, water, power, or heat for more than a week. The shelling and shooting is relentless. Is all of the water here controlled by Russian the Russian Navy right now? Is that the case, that nothing can get like in through this area? At this point, yes. When this says it links Russian-controlled Crimea, I thought Russia just controlled this. Or are they're probably just including the current Russian advance up through here? I'm not even going to try to pronounce this shit. But... the Ukrainian Navy was basically just one frigate that was in for repairs. Okay. They're including the occupied territory, yeah. Yeah, because you can see the area of Russian advance here. And so the first few days of the invasion had a perverse familiarity for many residents. About 100,000 people left at that time while they still could, according to Serhiy Orlov, the deputy mayor. But most stayed put, figuring they could wait out whatever came next or eventually make their way west like so many others. I felt more fear in 2014. I don't feel the same panic now. Anna Efimova said, as she shopped for supplies at a market on February 24th. There is no panic. There's nowhere to run. Where can we run? That same day, Ukrainian military radar and airfield were among the first targets of Russian artillery. Shelling and airstrikes could and did come at any moment, and people spent most of their time in shelters. Life was hardly normal, but it was livable. By February 27th, that started to change, as an ambulance raced into a city hospital carrying a small, motionless girl, not yet 6. Her brown hair was pulled back off her pale face with a rubber band, and her pajama pants were bloodied by Russian shelling. Her wounded father came with her, his head bandaged. Her mother stood outside the ambulance weeping. As the doctors and nurses huddled around her, one gave her an injection, another shocked her with a defibrillator. Doctor in blue scrubs, pumping oxygen into her, looked straight into the camera of an AP journalist allowed inside and cursed. Show this to Putin, he stormed with expletive-laced fury, the eyes of this child and crying doctors. They couldn't save her. Doctors covered the tiny body with her... Doctors covered the tiny body with her pink striped jacket and gently closed her eyes. She now rests in the mass grave. Hold on, there's too many pictures. And the same geography that's for so long worked in Mariupol's favor had turned against it. The city stands squarely between regions controlled by the Russian-backed separatists, about 10 kilometers to the east at the closest point, and the Crimean Peninsula annexed by Russia in 2014. The capture of Mariupol would give the Russians a clear land corridor all the way through, controlling the Sea of Azov. As February ended, the siege began. Ignoring the danger or restless, or perhaps just feeling invincible as teenagers do, a group of boys met up a few days later on March 2nd to play soccer on a pitch outside of school. A bomb exploded, and the blast tore through Ilya's legs. The odds were against him, and increasingly against the city. The electricity went out yet again, as did most mobile networks. Without communications, medics had to guess which hospitals could still handle the wounded and which roads could still be navigated to reach them. Ilya couldn't be saved. His father, Serhiy, dropped down, hugged his dead boy's head, and wailed out his grief. More pictures of stuff going on. On March 4th, it was yet another child in the emergency room, Kirill, the toddler struck in the head by shrapnel. His mother and stepfather bundled him in a blanket. They hoped for the best, and they endured the worst. Why? His sobbing mother, Marina Yatsko, asked in the hospital hallway as medical workers looked on helplessly. She tenderly unwrapped the blanket around her lifeless child to kiss him and inhaled his scent one last time, her dark hair falling over him. That was the day the darkness settled in for good, a blackout in both power and knowledge. Ukrainian television and radio were cut, and car stereos became the only link to the outside world. They played Russian news describing a world that couldn't be further from the reality in Mariupol. As it sunk in that there was truly no escape, the mood of the city changed. It didn't take long for grocery store shelves to empty. Mariupol's residents cowered by night in underground shelters and emerged by day to grab what they could before scurrying underground again. More pictures of injured people. On March 6th, in the way of desperate people everywhere, they turned on each other. On one street lined with darkened stores, people smashed windows, pried open metal shutters, and grabbed what they could. A man who had broken into a store found himself face to face with a furious shopkeeper, caught red-handed with a child's rubber ball. "You bastard, you stole that ball now. Put the ball back. Why did you even come here?" she demanded. Shame written on his face, he tossed the ball into a corner and fled. Nearby, a soldier emerged from another looted store on the verge of tears. "People, please be united. If this is your home, why are you smashing windows? Why are you stealing from your shops?" he pleaded, his voice breaking. Yet another attempt to negotiate an evacuation failed. A crowd formed at one of the roads leading away from the city, but a police officer blocked their path. "Everything is mined. The ways out of town are being shelled," he told them. "Trust me, I have family at home and I'm worried about them. Unfortunately, the maximum security for all of us is to be inside the city, underground and in the shelters." And that's where Goma Jana could be found that night, weeping beside an oil lamp that threw light, but not enough heat to take the chill off the basement room. She wore a scarf and a cherry turquoise snowflake sweater as she roughly rubbed the tears from her face, one side at a time. Behind her, beyond the small halo of light, a small group of women and children crouched in the darkness, trembling at the explosions above. "I want my home, I want my job. I'm so sad about people and about the city, the children," she sobbed. This agony fits in with Putin's goals. The siege is a military tactic popularized in medieval times and designed to crush a population through starvation and violence, allowing an attacking force to spare its own soldiers the cost of entering a hostile city. Instead, civilians are the ones left to die, slowly and painfully. Putin has refined the tactic during his years in power. First in the Chechen city of Grozny in 2000, and then in the Syrian city of Aleppo in 2016. He reduced both to ruins. It epitomizes Russian warfare, what we see now in terms of the siege, said Matthew Boligu, a researcher for Chatham House's Russia program. Chatham House or Chatham House? More pictures that I can't really show. Sorry. Chatham House. By March 9th, so 1 week ago, the sound of Russian fighter jets in Mariupol was enough to send people screaming for cover. Anything to avoid the airstrikes they knew would follow, even if they didn't know where. The jets rumbled across the sky, this time decimating the maternity hospital. They left a crater 2 stories deep in the courtyard. Rescuers rushed a pregnant woman through the rubble and light snow as she stroked her bloodied belly, face blanched and head lolling listlessly to the side. Her baby was dying inside her, and she knew it, the medics said. "Kill me now," she screamed as they struggled to save her life at another hospital even closer to the front line. The baby was born dead. A half hour later, the mother died too. The doctors had no time to learn either of their names. Another pregnant woman, Mariana Vishgurskia, was waiting to give birth at the maternity hospital when the strike hit. Her brow and cheek bloodied, she clutched her belongings in a plastic bag and navigated the debris-strewn stairs in polka-dot pajamas. Outside the ruined hospital, she stared motionless with wide blue eyes at the crackling flames. Vishgurskaya, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but delivered her child the next day to the sound of shell fire. Baby Veronica drew her first breath on March 10th. The two women, one dead and one a mother, have since become a symbol of their blackened, burning hometown. Facing worldwide condemnation, Russian officials claimed that the maternity hospital had been taken over by far-right Ukrainian forces to use as a base and emptied of patients and nurses. In 2 tweets, the Russian embassy in London posted side-by-side images of Associated Press photos with the word fake over them in red text. They claimed that the maternity hospital had long been out of operation and that Vishgurskia was an actress playing a role. Twitter has since removed the tweets, saying they violated its rules. The AP reporters in Mariupol who documented the attack in videos and photos saw nothing to indicate the hospital was used as anything other than a hospital. There is also nothing to suggest Vishgurskaya, a Ukrainian beauty blogger from Mariupol, was anything but a patient. Veronica's birth attests to the pregnancy that her mother carefully documented on Instagram, including one post in which she is wearing the polka-dot pajamas. 2 days after Veronica was born, 4 Russian tanks emblazoned with the letter Z took up positions near the hospital where she and the mothers were recovering. An AP journalist was among a group of medical workers who came under sniper fire with one hit in the hip. The windows rattled, and the hallways were lined with people with nowhere to go. Anastasia Irosheva wept and trembled as she held a sleeping child. Shelling had just killed her other child, as well as her brother's child, and Irosheva's scalp was encrusted with blood. "I don't know where to run," she cried out, her anguish growling with every sob. "Who will bring back our children? Who?" By early this week, Russian forces had seized control of the building entirely, trapping medics and patients inside and using it as a base, according to a doctor there and local officials. Orlov, the deputy mayor, predicted worse is soon to come. Most of the city remains trapped. "Our defenders will defend to the last bullet," he said, "but people are dying without water and food, and I think in the next several days we'll count hundreds and thousands of deaths." Fuck. Okay. Anyway, just so you have an idea of some of what's starting to go on now in Ukraine as the initial Russian advance seemed to be less effective than they'd hoped.
These are atrocities. They're an outrage to the world. And the world is united in our support for Ukraine and our determination to make Putin pay a very heavy price. America is leading this effort, together with our allies and partners, providing enormous levels of security and humanitarian assistance that we're adding to today, and we're going to continue to do more in the days and weeks ahead. We're crippling Putin's economy with punishing sanctions that's going to only grow more painful over time, with the entire NATO and EU behind us and many other countries. What's at stake here are the principles that the United States and the United Nations across the world stand for. It's about freedom. It's about the right of people to determine their own future. It's about making sure Ukraine will never be a victory for Putin, no matter what advances he makes on the battlefield. The American people are answering President Zelensky's call for more help, more weapons for Ukraine.
Destiny Watch for Same is a brilliant documentary about a couple, journalist wife and doctor husband, who lived through the siege of Aleppo. There's some incredible footage. It's the only time I've seen an audience in a cinema audibly hold their breath.
Wow, thanks.
Of more tools to fight Russian aggression. And that's what we're doing. In fact, we started our assistance to Ukraine before this war began, as they started to do exercises along
Keep hating
the
your life
Ukrainian
then,
border to
working class
Russia.
Andy.
Okay.
Starting in March of last year. We took the threat of Putin invading very seriously and we acted on it. We sent Ukraine more security assistance last year, $650 million in weapons, including anti-air and anti-armor equipment, before the invasion. More than we had ever provided before. So when the invasion began, they already had in their hands the kinds of weapons they needed to counter Russian advances. And once the war started, we immediately rushed $350 million in additional aid to further address their needs. Hundreds of anti-air systems, thousands of anti-tank weapons, transport helicopters, armed patrol.
I wonder if lefties will develop a better
Another
understanding of what
high-mobility
things like mass graves and genocide are.
vehicles, radar systems that help track incoming artillery and unmanned drones, secure communications equipment and tactical gear, satellite imaging.
Didn't say Simon Says.
And analysis.
Okay, I have to mute these while we're listening to serious stuff. These are too much. Why is the dono sound playing after the donation now?
Obama.
What? I feel like should I switch to Stream Elements? Stream Elements backend looks like the same clusterfuck of shit though. God damn. Get your own shit written. I thought about having K because he's offered to do it, but I don't know if it's worth it. Jesus, sorry, okay.
Capacity. And it's clearly helped Ukraine inflict dramatic losses on Russian forces. On Saturday, my administration authorized another $200 million to keep a steady flow of weapons and ammunition moving to Ukraine. Now I'm once again using my presidential authority to activate an additional security assistance to continue to help Ukraine fend off Russia's assault. An additional $800 million in assistance. That brings the total of new U.S. security assistance to Ukraine to $1 billion just this week. These are direct transfers of equipment from our Department of Defense to the Ukrainian military to help them as they fight against this invasion. And I thank the Congress for appropriating these funds. This new package on its own is going to provide unprecedented assistance to Ukraine.
This is like, this is kind of a darker or more like, I don't know what you'd call this, Machiavellian way of looking at this. But if I feel like there's so many political implications if Ukraine manages to resist Russia. One, I think it would help Biden a lot. I feel like in the next election season. Two, I feel like America's position on the world stage looks pretty good, considering America's kind of like cheer-led and actually led, kind of like the effort of coordinating sanctions and assistance against Russia and then to Ukraine. And then three, the thing that I'm still the most curious about is I'm so curious what happens to Russia or Putin if they fail in their excursion here.
It includes 800 anti-aircraft systems to make sure the Ukrainian military can continue to stop the planes and helicopters that have been attacking their people and to defend their Ukrainian airspace. And at the request of President Zelensky, we have identified and are helping Ukraine acquire additional longer-range anti-aircraft systems and the munitions for those systems. Our new assistance package also includes 9,000 anti-armor systems. These are portable, high accuracy shoulder-mounted missiles that the Ukrainian forces have been using with great effect to destroy invading tanks and armored vehicles. It'll include 7,000 small arms, machine guns, shotguns, grenade launchers to equip the Ukrainians, including the brave women and men who are defending their cities as civilians, and they're on the countryside as well. And as well as the ammunition, artillery, and mortar rounds to go with small arms.
There was speculation that Putin could save face by saying mission successful by destroying Ukraine's military, but I don't think it'd be enough for him. I don't think that the Russian army could return back, like driving whatever's left, back to the motherland, back through Belarus, like half their ship blown up. Like, well, we got rid of the Nazis, guys. Like, we did it. I don't know, man. It feels like it feels like he galvanized the rest of the world so much against him. Like, I don't think that like all of NATO has ever been as energized, or like all of the Western world has ever been as united against like a common enemy as in my lifetime. Like even in the even when you've pulled like France on board, and Germany too with shit like this. it just feels like you fucked up so bad. You fucked up so bad. Jesus. Like, politically. Even Switzerland, no one gives a fuck about Switzerland, okay? You go to Switzerland to hide your money. Otherwise, it's an irrelevant dog shit fucking country. Nobody cares about you, okay? France is a big deal. France historically is like very NATO skeptic, okay? Fuck Switzerland. Fuck those losers. But it's a very beautiful country if you have a lot of money.
Million rounds in total, 20 million rounds. This will include drones, which demonstrates our commitment to sending our most cutting-edge systems to Ukraine for its defense. And we're not doing this alone. Our allies and partners have stepped up to provide significant shipments of security assistance and will continue to help facilitate these deliveries as well. The United States and our allies and partners are fully committed to surging weapons of assistance to the Ukrainians. And more will be coming as we source additional stocks of equipment that we're ready to transfer. Now I want to be honest with you. This could be a long and difficult battle, but the American people will be steadfast in our support of the people of Ukraine in the face of Putin's immoral, unethical attacks on civilian populations. We are united in our abhorrence of Putin's depraved onslaught, and we're going to continue.
Jesus fucking Christ. What? Yikes, fam. This is my league games right here, okay? Destiny, it's kind of funny how this conflict definitely helped the US to improve the reputation of Europe massively so far after 4 years of Trump. It feels like having an ally again. Something that is so unbelievably scary, and we can't run it twice, so we don't know what it would have been like, but oh my God, if Trump would have been the president during this conflict, who the fuck knows how god awful this situation would have been handled. Oh my fucking God. Like, I can't even imagine listening to him try to stumble through, like, not knowing where Ukraine is, not having any fucking idea what's happening at all in this part of the world, like just believing everything Putin says verbatim. Like, yeah, I don't know. He either would have had no involvement whatsoever, or he would have just started sending U.S. troops, not even NATO troops, just U.S. troops to Ukraine. Who the fuck knows? But I think there's a higher likelihood that I think he would have been inactive. I don't think he would have done anything. He would have said, this isn't our business. It's for them to be there, blah, blah, blah. Like Trump was already undermining the fuck out of NATO for so long. Jeez. Okay, sorry.
Continue to have their backs as they fight for their freedom, their democracy, their very survival. We're going to give Ukraine the arms to fight and defend themselves through all the difficult days ahead. We're going to continue to mobilize humanitarian relief to support people within Ukraine and those who have been forced to flee Ukraine. In just the past few weeks, we provided $300 million of humanitarian assistance to the people in Ukraine and in neighboring countries. Tens of thousands of tons of food, water, medicine, and other basic supplies to support the people in need. Our experts on the ground in Poland and Moldova and other neighboring countries are there to make real-time assessments of the rapidly evolving crisis to get urgently needed humanitarian supplies to the people in need when they need it. And we will support Ukraine's economy with direct financial assistance as well. And together with our allies and partners, we will keep up the pressure on Putin's crumbling economy, isolating him on the global stage. That's our goal. Make Putin pay the price, weaken his position, while strengthening the hand of the Ukrainians on the battlefield and at the negotiating table. Together with our allies and partners, we're going to stay the course. And we'll do everything we can to push for and end this tragic, unnecessary war. This is a struggle that pits the appetites of an autocrat against humankind's desire to be free. And let there be no doubt, no uncertainty, no question. America stands with the forces of freedom. We always have and we always will. Thank you all and God bless you. And I'm going to walk over and sign this legislation, sign this bill to allow the drawdown of those materials. And may God protect their young Ukrainians who are out there defending their country.
This is the first time he has said God protect our troops? Or God bless our troops?
I'm not going to comment on that right now. $800 million in the
Mr. President, what will it take for you to send the Polish MiGs that President Zelensky is asking for?
I'm not going to comment on that right now. I'm not going to comment on any other than what I've told you today. Thank you.
Mr. President! That's what you guys sound like when you spam at me in chat. You fucking losers. What is this?
He's only targeting. Putin says he's only targeting military targets.
Bullshit. Sorry. Where is military target? This building is military target.
Jeez. I read stories about like he used to be a boxer and now he's... A no-fly zone is obviously not an option for Ukraine, but I've seen some people advocating for an airlift to assist civilians in escaping, providing resources and stuff. I just feel this could end similarly to a no-fly zone with the EU/US aircraft and Ukrainian airspace. Do you have a take on this? I haven't heard anything about this. That sounds scary though, because if you start to send US Air Force into these areas, if they get shot down, what happens? It's just, yeah. I don't know what happens. Zero chance Putin does try to nuclear if we try to enforce a no-fly zone. I'm not talking about a no-fly zone, but like sending in assistance and airlifting civilians out. I don't know if we would actually do that. It just seems really risky. But who knows? What would you say to some of the things that Putin wouldn't have had a reason to invade under Trump, since Ukraine was already weak and destabilized during his administration? Well, I'm saying the thing was if Trump had a second term, if Trump would have won instead of Biden. It's a really good read about how before the invasion, the FSB did polling in Ukraine that made them more confident about the invasion that they should have been. I've read some stuff. I don't have this offhand. I don't know how true it is because it almost sounds like movie stuff. But something I've seen pop up a few times is that when you're an autocratic dictator, you tend to surround yourself with yes men. And when you're running like these military sims and shit and these like trying to figure the research, like everybody's a little bit more incentivized to say that things are better than they actually are. I don't know if that's true or not as well. Although historically, there might be precedent for it. What did I read a while ago? So randomly. There's Komarov? Wasn't the first guy to die in space? Well, technically he died on Earth, crashing into Earth. Wasn't there like 200 some fucking errors on the spaceship before the Seljuk or whatever the fuck it was called, before it actually was launched into space, but nobody actually wanted to bring it up. Nobody wanted to say anything because it looked bad for the space program. What am I talking about? Hold on. I think the guy's name was Komarov? I made all of this up. Komarov? What was the name of the Soyuz? Was this the guy that demanded an open casket funeral? Supposedly, but I don't know if that was true or not. I've seen that on like meme pages. I don't know if that was actually the case, but my understanding is that, I mean, you can see pictures of his body that is like, fuck. Yeah, that might be a Reddit meme. But I think supposedly the aircraft was like fucked and people knew the aircraft was fucked, but there was a problem like reporting this up the chain of command. So who knows if like similar stuff is happening. Nah, that's a Reddit myth. Oh, are those meme myths?
Obama.
True. Someone said Mao's generals lied to him about the crop harvest for the country, and that's what caused the famine and the Great Leap Forward. I don't know if that's true either, but correct. Okay, well, 2 people in chat said it, so now I believe it. Can you think of examples when it comes to Trump, like people he fired or how he filled his staff with temp appointments who were loyal to him? Oh yeah, but I think in America, maybe my international is coming out. It feels like in America it's a little bit different though. Like for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the people or the institutions, but even when Trump would try to use like temp appointees, I don't think Trump ever got the loyalty he wanted, right? Like if Trump couldn't get people like William Barr or Mike Pence to be the loyalists that he needed, and these are like ride or die Trump fans, at least Barr was, if you can't get those people to bend the rules for you, it seems like maybe for whatever reason, with the way the American system or liberalism or the people, whatever, however it's set up, it seems like it's a bit harder to get that type of like, yes, man, you know, doing whatever shit in the United States. At the end, there was literally no one left except for the same people. Yeah, people think that Putin wouldn't have had a reason to invade under second Trump term since Ukraine was already fucked. I don't know. Was Ukraine already fucked? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how. That's something I need to realize about. I don't know how the civil war was going in the east. I don't know if they were making good progress there or not. I mean, Crimea was in Russian hands, so. But I don't know if you would say that like Ukraine was fucked. But hold on, I'll be back in a second. Everybody say to Hamster Hawk. 1 second.
Obama.
Latest Putin speech.
Они будут пытаться делать ставку на так называемую пятую колонну, на национал-предателей, на тех, кто зарабатывает деньги здесь, у нас, а живет там. И живет даже не в географическом смысле этого слова, а по своим мыслям, по своему рабскому сознанию. Я совсем не осуждаю тех, у кого вилла в Майами или на французской ривьере. Кто не может обойтись без фуагра, устриц или так называемых гендерных свобод. Но проблема абсолютно не в этом. А повторю, в том, что многие из таких людей по своей сути ментально находятся именно там. А не здесь, не с нашим народом, не с Россией. Это и есть, по их мнению, признак принадлежности к высшей касте, к высшей расе. Подобные люди готовы и мать родную продать, только бы им разрешили сидеть в прихожей у этой самой высшей касты. И они хотят быть похожими на нее, всячески подражая ей. Но они забывают или не понимают вообще, что этой так называемой высшей касте они, если и нужны, то как расходный материал, чтобы использовать их для нанесения максимального ущерба нашему народу.
I love little anime girls.
Коллективный Запад пытается расколоть наше общество.
I love little anime girls. I love little anime girls.
Спекулируя на боевых потерях, на социально-экономических последствиях санкций, спровоцировать гражданское противостояние в России и, используя свою пятую колонну, стремиться к достижению своей цели. А цель одна, я уже говорил об этом – разрушение России. Но любой народ, а тем более российский народ, всегда сможет отличить истинных патриотов от подонков и предателей и просто выплюнет их, как случайно залетевшую в рот мушку, выплюнет на панель.
Jeez. I feel like it's not that crazy to say Putin is fascist, no? Is it? Is that really that insane? Fifth column is any group of people who undermine a large group from within, usually in favor of an enemy group or nation. Stay woke, there are multiple Putins. I feel like many Americans are tragically unaware of the fact that Putin of today is not the same Putin as the Putin of the 90s. Wait, what? Two Putin theory. Okay, sorry. Who cares about the Ukrainian stuff? We've got Vaush drama, guys.
Level of defensiveness. Anyway. And I will never personally understand that, but like I said, I'm told it's a positive. I could simply be out of touch. I don't deal with hypotheticals. Idealism. I deal with realities. Okay, this right here, like, this is like an auto, like, sub 3-digit IQ right here. I'm sorry. You're not getting me around this, okay?
Oh, no.
I don't deal with hypotheticals. I deal with realities, and I've devoted the past 16 years of my life to defending and fighting for trans people. That means I've invested the vast majority of my lifetime into advocating for something that you've only been doing for a few... Where will this sentence go, I wonder? A few years. If you read through any of my comments about this post, you know that I consistently encourage people to not hyper-focus on you, except this was after the 100-tweet thread, nor make it about you, because for me it's not really about you. I'm confused by the very concept that misogyny be helpful in advocating for trans folks. Listen, again, I'm confused by the very concept misogyny would be helpful in advocating for trans folks. My first message up there was, it's worth criticism. That's not... So then
Sorry,
I
he
think,
just
like,
he just
okay,
gotta let loose.
She's not
Let loose,
engaging with me
Vaush.
here. Okay, I'll be more direct. I think your behavior here is harming trans people. I'd just be interested in knowing how you would respond to that hypothetical. And then I say, Christ, you type fast, because she really does. My God. She was on her phone, too. And then here we go. You shouldn't be thinking of this conversation as one about you. You should think about your image or your brand. Oh, sorry, your image or your brand. You should be thinking about the context of, I love context. This one. You should be thinking about it in the context of its impact on trans folks you claim to be advocating for. I do not see standing up against misogyny as harming trans people, and I don't think you're equipped to define what helping and assisting trans people actually is, especially when you seem to think misogyny should be a part of it. So I ask you guys, how do I get her to learn that I'm not defending the misogyny? I beg of you, if you have any suggestions, vaushvidya@gmail.com is the email, okay? I beg of you. Vaush, you're escalating all this by fighting instead of moving on and ignoring their wrongness. This will cost your relationship with Natalie. If Natalie decides to stop being on good terms with me over this, then she doesn't deserve me.
Oh!
Nor do you deserve being in my chat.
Oh! Damn.
Yeah, her fault, her problem. Sorry.
Damn.
Anyway.
Anyway.
I'm not being flippant about this. My frustration stems from the belief that you and other online leftists are hurting trans people and I am not. This isn't an ego thing. Can you please answer that hypothetical? It's a yes or no. It is literally a yes or no question. That's the answer to the hypothetical. And then her response.
If you can't handle me at my destiniest, you don't deserve me at my Vaushest.
I think you need to take a few moments away from this conversation. I respect that you've gotten a lot of shit and that it's been personally very hard on you, and my heart reaches out to you. But this is absolutely egotistical because you are turning this conversation into a conversation about yourself. I beg of you, how? She's the one talking about me. I'm trying to talk about the hypothetical here.
Ooh.
Yeah. For comments that did not need to be made. Tweet. There's 9. Okay. Should the online left, this is me, should the online left unify in condemning a black man as a bad advocate for progressivism because a conservative pundit did a segment on misogynistic lyrics in his music? Kat, I'm literally just trying to get an answer to that question. Please don't patronize. If anyone here thinks that my tone in this conversation is off, I beg of you to understand that this is the most self-control I've ever exhibited in my entire life. Like this, I'm trying so hard. I've barely even gotten to say anything.
And broken out the racial slurs.
Answers. She hasn't answered anything. I've essentially said the most I want to say, and I don't really want to entertain your hypothetical about some black person. You're thinking about this in the context of the so-called online left, and that is personally an argument and position that feels very terminally online. To summarize, I think it's amazing that you're advocating for if my reading of her DMs sounds like I'm trying to make her sound condescending, I think it's warranted a little bit by the Contra and YouTube chat. Is that true? This is very much a you know,
keep hating your life then, working class Andy.
Talking about ICBM launch detected from Belarus's territory, you know, kind of situation. We gotta be careful. Oh wait, Contra is there. Why does Vaush think misogyny doesn't hurt trans women? Contra, if you say something again in chat so I can know that you're still there, I will give you a brief version of my argument in full, without any condescension. But I need to know you're still there, because this message was from a little while ago. Because, you know, it feels silly otherwise. I feel like a bit of a goofy goober.
Is he pronouncing his own name wrong? I don't even know how to pronounce. I thought it was Vaush, but now I'm not even sure anymore. I just say Vaush because it either triggers him or it's
people on YouTube
correct.
Chat are furious with me.
Uh-oh.
I'm really sorry, guys. Okay, but there's a reason I have a PhD in debate and you don't. All right, and it's because I'm always right. Okay.
Oh.
Contra gets to disagree with me here. She's earned that.
Dumpster.
Let's continue with these while I wait to see if Contra responds. Okay. Maybe just explain. I've explained it. If you're a viewer of mine, you should know my beliefs, guys. Didn't I explain my position 5 minutes ago while reading the point on the hypothetical that I wanted to present Kat Black in DMs? Didn't I just do that? I can do it again. She's not in YouTube chat? Oh, she just came in there to, like, mischaracterize me, then left?
Ooh, Vaush! Burning bridges. Damn.
All right, let's continue.
Oof. Trudges forward. No fucks given.
And I know that you're intelligent enough to understand that. I'm giving you that credit because it's hard for me to believe you saw that as necessary. So she's still saying, I thought it was necessary to be misogynistic. Like, I don't know what I can do to move her off of this. Anyway.
Women, am I right, Vaush? Because we hate them.
I'm thinking of this in the sense that I believe you are defending bad advocacy for trans people presently. My frustration stems from my belief that this behavior of yours, extrapolated broadly, makes trans people vulnerable. If your only interest is condescension and you don't want to talk about it, that's your right. Oh my god, I'm such a not debate bro. I swear to God.
I can imagine Destiny having this Twitter arc. Absolutely wrong. I would have this Twitter arc for exactly 1 day. Then I would go up to memeing it up on my subreddit for 2 days while I played League, and then I would come back and all you fuckers would have forgotten about it. That would have been the Destiny approach. Fuck you, losers.
This is already like, we're 11 screenshots in, and I'm going...
I don't think you would defend the unironic misogyny, though. So again, the problem is that I don't know how up on trans issues Vaush is to know why the misogynistic joke, while defending trans people, is probably not the best thing. But like, I could see myself totally fucking out, especially because we're on the anti-white woman arc, okay? I think I could have just easily made like a white woman joke towards JK Rowling in the midst of all of this. Oh, actually, yeah, maybe I wouldn't have made a misogynistic comment towards JK Rowling because I might have made fun of her for being British instead. I wonder, because I probably would have said white women. I wonder if I would have done better saying white women than Vaush just saying all women. I'm not sure. I don't know how I would have made that tweet. I could see myself making a tweet like Vaush would. It's just a really unfortunate that is the insult that he went for given the context of what's going on. I'm not sure. I don't know. Passive item level doesn't matter. You still get to level the passive item after you've done the evolution, right? Okay.
Out here going like, if you don't want to talk about it, that's your right. What am I supposed to do? Fuck. Jesus.
Playing League is far worse than misogyny.
But I wish you'd said so from the outset. I can't type as fast as you clearly. This was a consistent problem, by the way. I actually just cannot type as fast as she can. I was really trying to. Vaush, she doesn't think you're defending the misogyny. She's just saying you still said it. No, she's explicitly accusing me of thinking it's necessary to engage in misogyny. That's explicit.
Misogyny.
Which is a mischaracterization of my position, of course.
True.
What was I saying? All right. So here we go. So this is just in a response to me saying, I think you're doing bad advocacy and I want to talk with you about it. If you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to. Okay? Where do you get off believing you can define what advocacy for trans people looks like? I'm actually very curious about that. I do want to point out again that no matter how much I try to make this about the arguments, Kat Black only wants to talk about me. You guys are noticing that, right? Every single message from her has explicitly been about me, not about the broader argument or any of the reasoning involved or anything like that. It's always about me, which is making me uncomfortable. I'm actually very curious about that, as again, this is something I've done for the past 16 years of my life. Your frustrations here don't personally matter to me because whether you're frustrated or understanding, one of us lives with the reality of being transgender and transitioning in a world that is antagonistic towards us, and the other doesn't. Well, that last bit is true, at least. And then I say, you can try to understand why I feel that way, or you can decide my opinions aren't worth your time and write me off as a terminally online cis savior type, but don't pretend at wanting the former when it's going to lead to the latter. I love talking about why I believe what I believe. I'm happy to explain anything anytime. I can't be more straightforward than this.
I can't
I'm sorry.
I'm out. I cannot even anymore, any longer.
When you argue like this, it only comes off as incredibly egotistical and self-involved. There are people right now who are living very harsh lives because they are transgender and exist in an ever-increasing antagonistic world. Your online disputes, I assume?
My goodness. As always, it seems my own community is the center of the pushback that I get. Whew. Oh my god. It's unreadable out here. I assume the screen just went black because mere moments before deciding to record this, I decided to turn off Elden Ring. It was making my computer fan too loud. Okay, here's the dealio, folks. First of all, we raised over $300,000 for Ukrainian refugees. It's a shame that fact getting lost a little bit in the, media buzz about my excellent opinions and high-profile disputes, but it's a real thing, and I'm very proud of everyone in my community. Thank you. Take the day off.
Okay, I don't know why you linked me that timestamp.
Assume and debates do not particularly matter in the larger scheme of things, but you do function as an example of transgender people and their advocates.
Look at the title?
Engaging
Yeah,
in
I saw the
misogyny
title.
to defend them. Again, I would like to give you the benefit of the doubt that you know this isn't productive. So she's not making any effort to engage here. See, this gives me the impression that you asking me how I got off believing that was rhetorical, and there's no real answer I could give you that you'd listen to which she says, because I think it's actually quite humorous that you as a person who isn't trans genuinely think you have superior insight. That's incredibly condescending. That's why I was saying on Twitter that she literally said she was never going to listen to what I had to say because I was cis. It's right there, explicit.
Wow.
She encouraged me, not enthusiastically, but, she invited me to give my perspective, and no matter how much I tried to get her to engage with my arguments or just even listen to them, this is the truth. I am cis, and she would never have listened to me.
Damn.
She's being way more condescending, though. At this point, I do not think that I am being condescending at all. I will be soon after this, but at this point, I don't think I have been. Wait, when did she say that, Vaush? Right here. The blue text messages are from her. See? This gives me the impression you asking me how I got off believing I have a right to define what's good trans advocacy is rhetorical, and there's no real answer I could give that you'd listen to. And then she agrees. Because I think it's humorous that you who isn't trans would do this. You see?
You see, guys?
Here, hold on. Mods, you're not banning nearly enough people in chat, I have to say. I don't care if the joke title to my video is in all caps, the moral necessity of being misogynistic to JK Rowling, when the content of the video doesn't agree with that title. It's clickbait. And also, I went into her DMs and explicitly told her that the misogyny can be criticized. That was the first thing that I said. You guys are like, well, the reason she keeps insisting this is because the title of the video, the first thing I said was, it isn't about that, that's worthy of criticism. She ignored that. She didn't read it.
Oh no, Vaush.
So do we now have an inline? Oh, we do. Thank you, Yahweh.
Thank you, Yahweh.
God, we've already looked through so much.
Vaush banning all dissent in his
Now we're back
subreddit,
where we
guys? Uh-oh. Who does that sound like?
Right. So, wait, hold on. Vaush, I agree with you, but you make it too easy for people to attack you with titles like that. If you think people would stop attacking me...
They're going to attack me anyway, bro.
Then you're as delusional as the people who think TERFs would stop attacking trans people
if they
people on the
being
left stop
misogynistic.
engaging in ironic misogyny.
True.
Trust me.
Based.
They don't care.
That's why we use racist humor, Vaush. He's coming to the dark side.
Right, so there's no answer you'll hear out. Why not admit that? It's not like I'm unwilling to explain myself, but it seems like you just want to condescend. Should I give you a minute to continue typing out how audacious it is for a cis white boy to have these strong opinions?
Ooh.
So here's where I get a little bit sassy, but like... That is what she said, so yeah. I get this all the time. I'm clearly comfortable expressing disagreements with people whose lived experiences are different than mine. Which is fine. There's not a damn thing wrong with that. And then she says, lol, You can explain it, and I'll listen to you, but it's still going to be incredibly arrogant for you to think you have authority over conversations around trans issues as a person who does not experience any of the actual things that trans people experience and has not navigated through it. This is a really weird point to me. I don't think you need to have authority to make an argument. I've never believed that, ever, for any group of people. Big Joel has joined the brigade. Of course he would.
Uh-oh, Big Joel is in.
Everyone will disagree with me on this. But everyone who's watching right now should pretty clearly understand why I have every right to think ill of Kat Black.
Don't worry, Vaush. Destiny's here for you, buddy.
Anyway, it is incredibly arrogant for you to say I'm somehow incorrect in my advocacy. Listen to this. It's arrogant of me to disagree with her. That's the thing that I am arrogant for doing. Incredibly arrogant at that. Oh, Big Joel just didn't like you retweeting the screenshot? Oh, okay. It could be
Vaush is the anime, and Destiny is the main.
Anyway,
I cannot wait for Vaush's and word.
It is incredibly arrogant for you to say I'm somehow incorrect in my advocacy for trans folks as a person who's been doing it most of their lives, who has helped many other people come into themselves. Again, this
truly are
applies
a piece.
as
Civilians
much
are dying at
as
the hands
hating your life then,
to
working class
Big
Andy.
only
Joel,
looking to things that back
who's
up your
been doing this
perspective.
for longer than it does to Kat Black. This is just a really bad argument to me. I don't exactly know how you could possibly believe you have a superior understanding to me. This is where she's calling me arrogant.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how you could possibly believe you could have a superior understanding to me unless you had an overly inflated sense of self. I assume that's what's being blocked here. And this is why I generally do not connect with your work. You are attempting to undermine the work that I've done for most of my life to advocate for trans people and to help people understand them because you don't like that. I said your misogyny wasn't helpful. Look at this.
Look at it, guys. Look at it.
This is a very insecure person to the point that I worry for people in like relationships with her. This is this insane level of I don't care about you. I don't think about you. It's incredibly arrogant of you to disagree with you. It's disagree with me. It's insane that you would even think you can have a point up on me in this. You're undoing everything. You're destroying my work. Like no willingness to engage. Nothing.
Abuser.
Anyway, I don't mean to condescend. I'm still being too polite here. But you're essentially telling me preemptively you don't care what I have to say. How am I to respond to that? Christ, you type so fast. I'm an anarchist, Kat. I don't think a person needs authority to speak their mind. And then her response is,
true.
You shouldn't respond to it. You should move on and not be invested in my opinion of you because it doesn't matter and because I'm barely invested in you enough to really form much of an opinion about you beyond what I've seen you say.
Are you going to give your takes here? I mean, like, I feel bad for Vaush. I think that he probably made a mistake, but people are acting like it's like the worst thing in the world. It's probably not. But I think the problem is Vaush is like double, triple, quadrupling down. I will say there is some schadenfreude for all of his community. Like, if you read his subreddit over the past few days, it's been insane. They're like, oh my God, the lefty community is so horrible. All of these people are insane. It's crazy how all of them are saying such mean things about Vaush that are baseless. And they know that he's not really. It's like, okay, interesting. Who does that sound like? Yeah, I don't know. But what are you going to do?
Okay. Speak your mind, but ignoring the reality of the power dynamics that we live under is incredibly out of touch. I have never said that me being like a cis man doesn't mean that I have privilege over other... I've never said that. And that you don't consider that or examine that tells me pretty much everything.
Ooh. Everything.
Kat knows about the DM debate, thinks she cares.
Ooh.
She watched the Demon Mama debate? Wait, she's watching my live stream debates and she doesn't follow me? I think... Has she been, like, stalking me? I never would have believed that based on her behavior over the past few years, but she has acted so crazy over the past few, like, days that it's, like, really fucking weird. Like, holy... Like...
We're getting a little bit unhinged there, Vaush, but wait, what is this?
What's going on, everybody? I'm Hassan.
Oh my God!
I've gotten numb to the criticism. Like it's not. As a matter of fact, I seek it out now because I make.
What?
I've gotten numb to the criticism. Like it's not. As a matter of fact, I seek it out now because I make content out of it. I think it's funny and fun. That's the most important part of making money for me. It's just like being able to have freedom and be able to do and say whatever I want when I want it. What's going on, everybody? I'm Hassan.
Oh, there's a whole YouTube video on this? Oh, man. How can he say that after crying so hard to get banned from LSF? That... We'll watch this later. Hold on.
I don't care about you. I don't care about you. I worry she's going to start like posting that she doesn't even care like that I live at my address. You know, like holy shit, Jesus fuck. Wait, I think DM convo means direct message. No, wait, wasn't that directly about? Oh, I'm stupid. That's right. Demon Mama DM. No. This is the DM convo. The convo we're looking at right now, where this person apparently thought that my behavior warranted them throwing fists. How do you get to this, like, state? I know I've said this a lot, but I really feel like Kat Black comes across like an abuser here.
Jesus Christ! Really, Vaush?
Anyway.
That feels a little
Out of
extreme.
curiosity, do you believe it's possible, however unlikely, that I might have an argument worth hearing or a position worth ceding?
Keep in mind that, like, at the height of his spite towards me, Vaush was literally siding with fucking Anna when Anna was looping against me. Okay, so again, it's all like really funny to.
Or is that a categorical impossibility to you, something literally incapable of being the case? I don't ignore the power dynamics, Kat. I know I'm white and cis and young and incredibly influential comparatively. And her response is, oh, poor you. I'm sure it must be hard for you to not be seen as an authority in all things. What the fuck?
What
does that mean?
What?
Bam. Nah.
What the fuck does that mean? This is so revealing to what's going on in her head. Her brain is like a fucking matte projector. Like like all of it is being directly transcribed into a fucking MP4 format. It's insane.
What?
I take that as a no then. You do believe it categorically impossible. And then she says, I don't think you understand how you're coming off here, but that's likely because of all the shit you're getting. And then I say, Kat, all I've said here is that I disagree with you. That's it. I don't think that's terribly audacious. I am privileged and I disagree with a person less privileged. That's it. I'm fine being that person. And then she says, you entered this conversation with a sharp disrespect of the work that I've done, so I'm not very interested in hearing how you have the better argument. So in this case, the disrespect she's referring to is me disagreeing with her. So her logic is disagreeing with her means she shouldn't have to hear the argument that I have for disagreeing with her.
Wow.
I mean, she disrespected my work, yeah, but, you know. And then I said, because I'm still trying to be nice, untrue, I respect the work you do. You're one of the very few people I haven't torn into on stream when I have disagreed with you. And you know that, sincere. I'm sure you know I have absolutely no reservations to do that generally. I do respect your work. The reason for the typos is because she never stops typing. Like, she's always typing, so if I want to type and respond to her,
she never stops.
The next tweet or next DM from her be out there, I have to, like, do it really, really quickly, you know? Like I said, I don't care about you calling me out on stream. It has no value nor impact to me in any real way. For me, it would actually make you look kind of childish.
She's being like mega autistic here. Vaush isn't trying to say Like, I think she even said in her Twitter, like, oh, I think he was trying to threaten me. What Vaush is just saying, I don't know if I have to do, like, the non-autism translation. What Vaush is saying is just like, hey, like, I haven't dragged you on stream. Like, I don't hate you. Like, I don't know why you think I have no respect for you. That's not true. And she's like, oh, you can drag me if you want. It's like, no, well, hold on. That's not what I'm saying, right? What is this?
It's because of what's Vaush.
Oh, we already said. We already watched this.
I hate this because it gives Destiny ammunition how he's right about the left. We are not the same. If Destiny's position about the left is that it's bad because it's retarded, then Destiny is objectively correct. What he leaves out, the critical portion of this analysis that he neglects, is the fact that he and everything he believes in is actually more retarded. Because even in my very public conversations that reference you, I was very polite in asking people not to hyperfixate on you. And she's right, by the way. Because of the way the online left is, even people in my community right now in YouTube chat, you can look at them by the dozens, possibly hundreds if they were all to type, and you will find that they agree with her. That's the state of affairs that we're in.
Uh-oh.
That's how bad it'd be.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait. Maggie Mayfish.
Somebody getting
banned? I didn't realize that you had clout, Maggie Mayfish. You have a verified YouTube account. Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? If you disagree, you're free to come on stream. If you don't want to, that's also fine. Don't know what else to say. Wait.
Destiny doing agitprop and Vaush subreddit every day. True. Whenever I post over there, I'm always really nice and people seem, generally I get good reception over there. I'm slowly bringing them over one subreddit poster at a time.
Maggie Mayfish. Oh, you have plenty of clout. Okay. Yeah, there are people in my site chat that are doing this.
Fuck, they're disagreeing with me. In the site
chat. Mass ban people in YouTube chat. Is Inkablue in there? Inkablue, if you want to, you can go full nuclear and just ban everyone who disagrees with me. Except for the people with clout, okay?
True.
I give you permission. I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, you're all abusers or abuse enablers.
Damn.
And frankly, you don't deserve to chat in my beautiful, pristine YouTube chat. Anyway.
Based.
What was I saying? Oh, right. I haven't called you out in stream, nor have I had any interest in doing so, because I think you're a lot better than most of the losers in this political space. I don't think this anymore.
Oh.
I'll put my phone down for a bit, and you can type up your explanation. I will never see misogyny as a productive way to advocate for trans people, but I'm still fascinated by the logic behind it. This is still what we're on. We're on image 18.
Out of?
Like... And then I continue. So no, it's not disrespect. I just think I'm right on this one. If there is no way of convincing you of that, or of even having you hear me out, that remains your right. God, I'm being so nice. That remains your right if you just want to tell me that I'm disrespecting you even for, like, disagreeing and that I'm too cis to even be able to have an opinion on this.
God, what
Holy
a saint.
shit. I get painted as such the bad guy in all these disagreements, dude. This is, like, legitimately, undeservedly nice. I'm violating a fucking moral code by being this kind to a person this shitty. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Saint Vaush. Praise be unto him.
Fuck! Kat, I did. You have to answer the hypothetical. And then she continues.
Jesus
In my view,
Christ.
misogyny has a very intense negative impact on me. When you explicitly
She's
decide
unstoppable.
to be misogynist to women you disagree with or dislike, you are saying there's a degree at which you will exert misogyny towards those who you disagree with, which for me makes you seem like a person who is quite unsafe. In every other context where that's been the case, that has been my feeling. I don't trust people who engage in bigotry only when they believe they can get away with it because the person they're being bigoted towards is a bad person. I understand people who disagree with me on this will never understand this as a worthwhile point. However, she is being an explicit bigot in this conversation.
Ooh, because he's a white male.
You know, I'm also not defending the misogyny here, but, you know.
Damn.
Hold on.
Yeah?
That for me will never be an expression of a person who is actually safe. And then I say, and how about that hypothetical SoundCloud artist? To which case she says, you've quite the echo chamber within your fandom clearly, but most people are going to observe you exerting misogyny, see it for what it is, and disconnect from what you're saying. I know. But I will allow you to explain to me why it's necessary in your advocacy for trans rights. She said this like 8 times. Like, All right, if you wish, explain to me why being misogynistic is good.
Ooh.
I keep being like, I'm trying to move it on to anything else, like any other talking points. This applies to him too, no? And then she says, again, I'm not going to engage in your hypothetical. And then I say, oh my God, but that's the point. And then she says, I'm waiting on your explanation, putting my phone down. And then I say, I think you agree with me on this broadly. You're just biased against me specifically.
Ooh.
I don't blame you. The discourse surrounding me is very toxic. The point of the hypothetical is to, it says but to isolate the variables and give us a better understanding of the ethics involved. If you're really unwilling to answer a yes-no question after typing all this out at me, I will choose to believe it's because you know you would never type out a long tweet thread dragging a black man for objectifying women a bit in a song after being attacked by a massive conservative pundit in an exchange so big it literally made headlines.
Ooh.
You never do it.
The reverse.
Because you know that in
racism
gigantic
comes
social
out.
media shitstorms, discourse narrows and nuance blurs, and in that moment, the overwhelming priority is to support your political ally and not join Shapiro or whoever is overstating the harm of their problematic content.
Uh-oh.
I know you really don't care about this, and there's nothing I can say to convince you, but I genuinely think you're in the moral wrong here, tacitly taking JKR's side even through equivocation and selective focus.
What?
I bet she loves the fact that the left is so divided she can dig around in a limitless reservoir of ammunition to fuel her transphobia for whoever and whatever she decides to focus on. People on the left will bolster her argument by joining her side and condemning the problematic behavior, no matter how minor.
Vaush keeps bringing this analogy, but it doesn't work, right? No, I think the analogy works perfectly, but she doesn't want to engage with it probably because it shoots down her entire argument. That's my guess.
Even if it means playing into a billionaire bigot's narrative. Huh? There you go. That she said she'd set down the phone and I'd type it out, and there you go. That's my point. Why do you still think she'll listen at this point? I didn't. At this point, I had a feeling she would make this public, so I maintained an effort to be as explicit and clear as possible so that if she did leak DMs, I would have this to show you guys. I knew it. I knew this wouldn't go anywhere 5 minutes in.
I'm Jason Bourne.
But I'd hoped, at the very least, that if this did all go public, I'd be able to point to this and say, hey, I made a good faith fucking effort.
Based, Vaush.
You'll never guess how she responds. I really truly cannot express how little I think of you or care about you enough to specifically be biased against you personally. I actually think it's incredibly condescending and stupid to think that the only way I'd ever oppose misogyny is if it was you saying it. What do you even imagine I have against you? You said and done plenty of things that I find distasteful. You're a person like many other people who I've completely written off because of how you engage in isms. Life is too short for me to be hyper-fixated on a person who entertains themselves with misogyny, sexism, and racism.
True.
I do not think of you nor hold anything really against you.
Is that his transphobe voice, guys?
As a person who speaks out both sides of
He's
their
doing the
mouth and wants to
transphobe
be
voice.
pat on
Oh
the back
no.
for it. This is a particularly weird accusation. Speaking out both sides of your mouth means you double talk, right? Aren't I known for doing the opposite of double talking? Like, I don't double talk. I have a point, and then I just scream that point from the hilltops forever, no matter what it does to my career or reputation. I am very much not this. Like, in your imagination, do you think I'd celebrate somebody like Dan Olson saying that women need to shut up? She literally can't. Like, she cannot move off the misogyny thing. She can't move off of it. Because, just to be clear, if he said that, I would similarly dismiss him, even if understanding his joke was ironic. Because I don't like misogyny, regardless of who expresses it. Keep in mind, she typed all that before I could even get out this message. She typed so quickly.
Vaush is getting dominated in this conversation.
If Shapiro attacked a black man and black culture broadly because that man's saying some misogynistic stuff, I would realize there's a time and place for nuanced criticism and a time and place for realizing you have to stand against the broader problem. And I sure as hell would never say, oh no, By saying you fuck bitches, you're giving Shapiro ammunition for how black culture is bad and toxic. Christ. Like, right? Would you guys do this? Like, I think, I'm pretty sure that if I did this, I would be called racist. Like, if a progressive black YouTuber, like, drop the SoundCloud thing, if he just said, like, hey, Candace Owens is a bitch, or, like, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a bitch, that is misogynistic. And if Marjorie Taylor Greene decided to cry bully over it, and I was like, we need to talk about the misogyny on the left.
Obama.
Look at this person who called Marjorie Taylor Greene a bitch. Like, I feel like people would realize that I was in the wrong there, but...
Wow.
Well...
What are you going to do, Vaush, when they're all against you?
Is your inference here that I would be supportive of a black man's misogyny because he's black? Because I've actually spent quite a bit of time speaking about how I feel the opposite. And then I say, you're still not engaging. It's fine, I didn't expect you to, but I do feel better knowing I've made an effort. And she says, Ben Shapiro is a hack and a reactionary, and I wouldn't think much about him. I don't know why this is her default response to everything. I think about him far less than I think about you, which is not very much.
It's kind of a weird thing to say,
Dude, this is so fucking weird. Yeah, is she obsessed with Shapiro too?
I shouldn't have walked in here. This was greedy.
This is really fucking weird. Somebody, listen, okay? Fuck, okay?
Okay, we're good.
Do you think Kat Black doesn't do live streams because it would be too much of a hassle to deconstruct and reconstruct the shrine she's built to me in the back of her bedroom? Like, every time she wanted to go live? Fuck. This is very strange. This is very weird. Okay. Fuck. Yeah, if I ever go missing, alright? You guys know who's, like, fucking person number one, okay? Jesus Christ.
What's the substance of the drama? It's all just really stupid. This is just
Kat,
like...
why are you so insecure?
Lefty infighting is just so boring. It's just so dumb.
Care about?
Who
You
cares?
have, like, 12 times reminded you don't think of or care about me. That's okay? I don't own space in your mind. You don't work for me. I've never told you should care about me more. Why do you keep saying that over and over? If you're trying to calm my ego, it's not working. Because you continuously act like I'm particularly invested in you, and that's really just not the case. You're projecting then. I know nothing will calm your ego. I thought that way long before you messaged me. I don't think about you much. Also, here's a strong feeling I have about you. I'll be upfront. I care about you. I think you're causing harm. That's why I DM'd you. And then she says, dude, you're literally in my DMs trying to have a hypothetical conversation about something to defend your own argument.
Wow.
Yeah? You literally just said that you think I am particularly biased against you. Jeez, who isn't? And then I say, I won't feign disinterest. I'm worried for minorities in this country. In my head, I'm thinking, like, can I get her to understand this isn't about my ego? I'm legitimately concerned about how her behavior negatively affects minorities. Like, trans people especially, bad times a-comin' and all that. And then she says, I've devoted a lot of my time to calling out misogyny on my platform, and it's pretty shitty of you to vaguely make the suggestion I would somehow not care about the misogyny if it was part of black culture. So she won't answer the hypothetical, she'll just, like, gesture at it. Nice to meet you, Minnie. Then I say, I care very much about trying to push people's behavior in the right direction, to be better advocates and such to the best of my ability. And then Kat says,
am I autistic, or is Vaush making this out to be a way bigger deal than it actually is?
Especially about
well,
race.
Kat's making it out to be a really big deal, and Vaush is getting harassed by a lot of people about it now, so, I mean...
Oh, she cut a part off here. God damn it. I think at this point... Oh, she cut a lot off here. 25? 26? Wait.
Holy shit.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, no, you don't. Nuh-uh. Nope. Nope. $7:34 p.m. Does anyone know which coast Kat is on? I think we're on the same coast, so same time zone, because these are her screenshots, so the times would be... Okay. 7:34. Oh, we skipped a lot. Was this just a misordered? No, it's not. Oh no. Well, I thought we weren't leaking.
Well,
nothing in here is a dox or anything. There's nothing in here that she, I think, has any more of a right to not have seen opposed to everything else here. Here we go.
Here we go, baby.
The actual DMs.
Ooh, he's bringing them out.
She says, I don't expect for you to be very invested in everything that I post, especially about race, but I actually speak quite frequently about black men's misogyny. And then I say, Kat, would you ever say by writing misogynistic lyrics into the song, this black man has given...
Okay, I want you guys, okay, because you guys hate me so much because I've been playing League, okay? Now I want you to be grateful for me, because at least when I get into drama, it's some good ass shit, all right? This is some fucking sleepstony, snoozestony, boring ass, nobody's getting raped, murdered, not that I've done any of those things, either of those things, okay? No racism, no sexism, no homophobiaism, no deadbeat dadism, okay? This is some sleeper, boring, dumb shit that nobody cares about, okay? When I bring you drama, it is top memes, all right? It's not this sleeper bullshit, okay? I guess there is a little sexism, but it's not even good sexism. It's just the most boring kind of sexism, okay?
Ben Shapiro ammunition for calling black culture stupid and degenerate. That right there, I'm really trying to layer it down. Look at what Any said. Did Any say something?
Cough, Bob7, cough. Excuse me. Listen, you have never read a Twitlonger or a Google Doc as entertaining as I made that Google Doc, okay? That was my finest writing project.
Kat frames Vaush asking
right?
what coast she lives on as trying to dox her own well.
Don't even try to say that was boring. That was my most well-constructed work yet, all right? Compare that to any other Google Doc and find me a better one, please.
Keep hating your
I noticed
life,
there were some missing in the folder. There are 3 numbers that get skipped, I think. In the Dropbox or in the Imager. Like, what she linked lacked these. In the Dropbox, oh no.
Oh no.
Well. And then I say, I'm not defending misogyny here.
Why isn't there like a top 10 Destiny dramas list? The fucking Game of Thrones drama, the spoiler memes? Tell me that wasn't some top tier. Some of you might even have been negatively impacted to this day. Did I tell you one of the times when I was at I was over at the OTV house and Scar was telling me that he was going through one of those threads and he got fucking
Is this
spoiled?
drama review just manufactured consent to go on another League of Legends binge?
Yes.
At this point, I'll take it. Obama.
Oh no, Demon Mama liking anti-Vaush tweets.
Obama.
True.
And she says, and I think it should be called out. And the way that people associate it with blackness exclusively is just racism. As a goth, I fucking know that misogyny is an issue in music and does not know a specific racial background, which is true. And then I say, I never have.
Is there a lot of misogyny in goth culture?
That one particular thing to point at.
I don't know anything about goth
Kat,
people.
can you please answer that question? It is directly analogous. She says, lol. I understand the argument you're attempting to make here, but what you're missing is that the context is completely different. So I was right. She never would do what she would. Her answer to my hypothetical is no. Her answer is no. She recognizes that it would be inappropriate to dogpile on that black guy for some misogyny while being attacked by a giant conservative figure. Of course, obviously. It's because
Vaush wins again.
Sorry if that sounds conceited. You guys might know I have a pretty bad reputation in the online left.
Obama.
And I said, oh my God, I knew it. It's not an analogous example, not even vaguely. It is, of course, directly analogous. But then I said, that right there is why I chose a black musician. She says, lol. And I said, I knew you'd agree with me. She said, no, I don't think you actually understand what I'm saying here. I think both you and the black musician engaging in misogyny is a bad thing. Notice how that's not the hypothetical right there. Then I say, sure, me too. But that's not the point. Kat, would you
Vaush
ever
allowed to
say,
say me
and then I
too?
repeat the hypothetical
As a white
because it's
man?
about attacking them during the media condemnation. And she says, but you've compared
this time.
you're comparing someone's art to you posting something misogynistic on Twitter. These are not the same things. I don't get it. Is she saying misogyny is more acceptable if it's in a song? I don't get that. That's the point. Is misogyny more okay?
Kat's point there, by the way, is that there's fundamentally a difference between doing advocacy work and being misogynistic.
Didn't say Simon Says.
Versus doing like art and being misogynistic. Not that either is okay, but that fundamentally it's a different type of action. I don't know if I would agree or not, but that's Kat's argument there.
Because it's baked into song lyrics. She says, you're explicitly advocating for trans people while being misogynistic. If a black person was explicitly advocating for black folks and being misogynistic at the same time, I would condemn it all the same. And then I say, please answer the question. See, I'm okay with criticizing misogyny, but I'm not okay with buying conservative propaganda. She says, that's a straw man and you know it. I don't and will never defend misogyny, unlike you. Ooh. I'm so sorry to bring this up, but Kat has literally told a suicidal trans teen to kill themselves. I just really do not buy the holier than thou, like, moral grandstanding from this piece of shit.
Ooh, piece of shit.
That was 3 years ago. I don't care. If this is the level of faith that she's going to treat me in, then you really think 3 years is going to keep me?
Obama.
True. To put it another way, if I had done that 3 years ago, do you think that Kat would bring that up to condemn me? Yeah. Sorry. No, I don't care. I'll treat people in very good faith. If they're treating me in good faith, and when Kat's acting like this, like, I'm sorry, I have no reason to believe she's any different. Is she not acting like an abuser here? You think she wouldn't?
An abuser.
Also, she was an adult. She'd been doing trans advocacy for like a decade at that point. Kat's been on the internet for longer than I've known that I was a leftist. Please explain for... She was like 30 or something. People, please explain for your people who weren't there. Oh, it's on my Twitter.
When you burn Lawrence Bridge, please don't delete this.
I just can't stand moral grandstanding from people who like treat...
Why would I burn my
like
most important bridge?
To me and like
the one that I simp the hardest for,
closet,
apparently.
You know what I mean? That like really, really bugs me. I'm not even going to read it out loud.
Oof.
Anyway. Both situations are wrong, she says. Both situations are wrong, but...
Why do you guys want me to click this fucking picture? What? Being trans is cool. No, it's not ugly. Being trans is the coolest thing you could be. On a scale of cool, trans at the top. Sorry, I don't make the rules. Stop being such a fucking hipster. I'm going to fucking kill myself because I'm not cis. This is not cool. I am 14 and I am so fucking listening to my life so fucking early because I'm a trans individual. Me hating the fact that community I live in thinks I'm a freak. 5 months of my hard-earned
money to Destiny. What a ride.
Who deserves to die does not make me a hipster. Put me in the will, kid. Damn. Oh, shit. This person is doing the lit, you say? She's doing the Destiny tweet.
Obama.
That too. This is in 2019. Oh, a long time ago.
But you're talking about Ben Shapiro criticizing a rap artist who's making a sexist song and you advocating for trans people while being misogynistic. It's not even the same thing. And at this point, we're both typing so quickly that I don't even know who's responding to who at any point. But I'm just going to respond to her messages.
Oh my God,
for a
it's
second.
like Death Notes flying back and forth.
If, for example, someone released a BLM track and then within that track engaged in transphobia or misogyny, et cetera, I would equally believe that that sabotage of the message was being expressed. Who fucking who? You're literally in my DMs victimizing yourself, and it's really honestly pathetic. I really would not have expected that from you.
Ooh.
No, we don't agree. I never said misogyny matters less when the person is black. You suggested
Is there like
that.
a button for like the sound effect or whatever? Can I want to push that. I just need that button to push. The sound effect, the boom sound effect. Is it the Vine boom? It's called the Vine boom. This. I need to put this on my stream deck. How do I do it? I'll do that later.
Never said you did. And then she said, then what the fuck was your point about you not being you or not being a white guy? What is that even supposed to mean? And then I posed the hypothetical again. And then she said, I just think it's so bizarre that you genuinely think this has to do with you specifically. Oh my god. You're still projecting. Well, these are not analogous examples at all, and I'm glad we agree. So at this point, the fact that she's not willing to answer this is obviously because her answer is no, and she knows that makes me look good, so she can't engage with it. So she has to say, like, you know,
based, Vaush.
They're not analogous.
Take her out. Base, Vaush.
Yeah. I think the criticism Ben Shapiro makes is incorrect. I think the premise is wrong. We don't agree here because we're not saying the same thing. So this is really interesting to me right
Vaush.
here.
Yeah.
Right here. So she's saying they're not analogous because Ben Shapiro would be wrong to say black culture is stupid and degenerate because one black man is misogynistic.
But
and that is supposedly different from my situation.
How is it different, Vaush?
Which implies that she believes JK Rowling is correct
to
say that trans people are misogynists and threats to women. That's what she's saying right there.
Holy shit. She was the
Which
real
is a
transphobe
bit
the whole
odd,
time.
You know? That is the direct thing that she's saying right there. If she's saying that they differ because Ben Shapiro's criticism is
honestly,
incorrect,
when it comes down
the
to it,
implication
Vaush is
there
literally
that,
like Yagami. They are just
JK
like each
Rowling's
other.
is
Anyone
correct.
who says otherwise is a baka.
Keep hating your life then, working class Andy.
And then I say, interesting. So you think JKR is right to say trans advocates are all misogynists who want to suppress cis women's sex-based rights. That's interesting. And she says, now I'm curious. Do you think that your tweet referring to JK Rowling and speaking up for trans people is this the same as an artist putting out something into the atmosphere without a political message or goal? I think your trans audience very clearly demonstrates they are at the very least indifferent to misogyny. Oh God, if she only knew. Not all of them, but quite a few of them certainly did prove that point. And what's frustrating is that misogyny is not required for you to advocate for trans people. Is the implication that misogyny is required for black SoundCloud artists to advocate for... Okay. What you're doing is misrepresenting the issue that I have with this. It has nothing to do with you at all. I don't want anyone to advocate for trans folks while being misogynistic, no matter what color they are, no matter if they are trans or cis. And then I say, I don't know if we need to continue this conversation beyond you saying you believe JKR is right when she says trans advocates are all misogynists.
Ooh.
Nobody is defending misogyny, Kat. And then Kat points out, lol, I think she's correct to point out that some trans women engage in misogyny while advocating for trans people. This right here is more damage. This is more damage to trans people right here than anything I have ever said or done.
Holy shit!
I think J.K. Rowling is actually kind of correct when she says that trans women are engaging in misogyny. This right here is legit. Is this?
I can't believe
this
they
left
said
in or
that.
out of the tweets?
That's crazy.
No, okay, we can go back up through here. Yeah, okay. That part was skipped. I don't know if it was skipped by accident or if there was something there she didn't want shown.
Uh-oh.
That right there is legitimately more transphobic than anything I've said.
Drag her, Vaush. Take her out, Vaush.
Like by far. Yeah, this is some like appeasement shit right here. I can't believe it. I would never say that. I would never.
That's horrible.
Yeah, well, JKR has a
It's
point
so
when she says that like
transphobic.
some trans women are by some. Do we mean like it's capable of happening at all? Maybe. I think that trans women are, as a group, significantly less misogynistic than any other group of people. Like they are the least likely group of people to be misogynistic. Like, so no, I don't think that she has a point. I don't think she's correct at all, you know? Like, that would be like Ben Shapiro saying, well, black people are murderers. And Kat being like, well, I think he's correct to point out that some black people murder. And it's like,
wait, that was the worst possible analogy that Vaush could have used, because as a per capita compared to other groups of people in the United States, that's actually true. So is Vaush actually saying that trans women are misogynistic per capita compared to cisgender people? Uh-oh.
Some every people murder. Why would you what? I'm Kat Black.
Beta male Vaush is crying because
JK Rowling had a
Contrapoints
point.
doesn't agree with him.
Hitler said that the Jews...
Oh no, he's doing a rap. He's been listening to too much Mr. Mooten.
were all bankers.
Obama.
Well, he had a point because at least one of them was. Like, I can't, like, I can't, fuck.
Obama.
Jesus Christ.
He's 2 hours away, guys. He can fuck whenever he wants. Don't listen to that.
You are. The fact that you couldn't just say, hey, maybe I shouldn't have said that, and you're trying to come up with all these hypotheticals is indeed a defense of misogyny. I assume she means defense of misogyny. So I like this right here. The fact that you couldn't just say, hey, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And if we go back to the first fucking thing that I said, I'll own up to criticism for the ironic misogyny. That's fine and fair. It wasn't even funny. The first thing I said, oh, but it gets even worse.
Uh-oh. Even worse,
It gets even
Vaush?
worse.
No way. How?
And then I say, like, one of my first messages here was me saying it was a bad joke and I'm okay being criticized for it. I'm really not. If you're reading a defense of misogyny into what I'm saying, your reading comprehension is suffering. And then she said, I would have had so much more respect for you if you simply said, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have said that because it's not particularly productive to the conversation.
Oh my God.
But instead you're trying to get me and gotchas about Ben Shapiro and black artists making art because you think I have a bias against you and not a bias against misogyny. It's incredibly egotistical and condescending. You're right, I don't have good reading comprehension and you're more intelligent than I am. She reeks of so much insecurity that it legitimately makes me uncomfortable to read through these.
Oh my God. Do another
And
rap.
for that reason, you should not care what I have to say. This is, by the way, guys, if you have a significant other who talks to you like this,
She's an
dump them.
abuser.
Swear to God, you'll be better off for it. Dump them. Please dump them, okay? And then I say, you think being asked simple questions is a gotcha? And then she says, no, I think you're obviously attempting to have a gotcha, and it's very immature. Isn't this like the thing that Destiny did, where like the meme of like Destiny, like a conservative will say, listen, I just want white people to be able to live free with white people in this country. And then Destiny would be like, wouldn't that mean you'd have to like deport or kill a bunch of minorities? And they'd be like, why are you trying to gotcha?
Nice.
Like they don't, like they think it's a gotcha to be asked clarifying questions about their beliefs. Oh God, Demon Mama did this too. It's a really common thing with people who have bad arguments. Okay, but I have to stop shit talking Demon Mama because like I don't know how that's gonna pan out. I don't know how burnt that bridge is. We have to see if we can be constructive.
Oh no.
Let's focus on this, okay? All right, okay. And then I say, what? Here's where I have the existential crisis, okay? Why does it always turn out this way? I'm very happy I do the work I do. This happens every time. And she says, lol. You literally kept preemptively saying we agreed before understanding my position. You're asking this question to see if I would say that a black artist should change what they're saying because it makes the black community look bad, which is misrepresentation of the issue that I had with this. And I say, we do agree. She says, when you engage with me that way, you're making it very clear you don't actually care about this stuff. Why would I take issue with misogyny as a woman? Why wouldn't I take issue with people advocating for trans folks in ways that are unhelpful to us? And then I say, I haven't seen any tweet threads from you on how people who ratio Ben Shapiro by calling him short are bad advocates for progressivism. This is also analogous, by the way. And then she says, because again, I don't give a fuck about Ben Shapiro, which suggests that her principled position on advocacy without problematic language only applies in the very specific... Okay. And then I say, Kat, no one is defending misogyny. This is getting concerning. You care about JKR? And she says, then why are you incapable of simply saying you shouldn't have made the misogynistic joke? Why are you in my DMs trying to have a debate with me about this? And I say, I think your behavior harms vulnerable minorities because I typed this out before I realized she was typing. Again, keep in mind, I'm always struggling to keep up. She types at twice my speed. And then she says, I don't think you're capable of even qualifying that. But again, be entertained to hear why you think you have a better understanding of what's good for me as a person who actually lives with being transgender. Keep in mind, earlier, I literally fully typed out why I feel what I feel. And I say, also, Kat, I said I shouldn't have said it in the opening few messages. She says, then why'd you proceed with the stupid hypothetical? To which I said, reading comprehension. More to myself. And she says, I already told you I didn't read your messages.
Wow. Vaush, do another rap, Vaush.
Uncharitability could
Do
I
another
afford
rap,
Kat
Vaush.
Black,
You know you
which
want
would be
to.
undeserved? I beg of you to explain to me, okay? We have dug the hole so far, so deep. At what level? Like, there is like what mean thing could I say that wouldn't be true? Like, oh my god, I have every right to dislike her. Oh my god. And then, you know, we can skip ahead. After all of this was said and done, and she gets stupider from here if you can believe it. After all of this was said and done, I didn't want it to go public because I knew
He's trying to protect her.
because I would feel fucking depressive anxiety watching my community defend her, as you all already have, by the way. So thanks for that. And
Vaush community, you're letting him down.
To avoid it ever being made public, I DM'd a bunch of people on Twitter to push her latest tweet down my DMs list so that in the incredibly unlikely event that I accidentally show my DMs page, she's not at the front page. Like, I made an effort to prevent an accidental leak of any drama. And then, while shopping at Trader Joe's, she typed out an actual, literal 100 tweet thread. An actual, explicit, literal 100 tweet thread.
100 tweets.
Somebody link the tweet thread. I don't want to go through her tweets. I know she tweets every 30 seconds. Wait, she was shopping and tweeting? No, I was shopping and tweeting. I was at Trader Joe's as I checked my notifications.
Good job, Vaush.
Oh,
so from rapping to football, Vaush, is this how you always disagree with black people?
Thank God.
Really makes
and
you
then
wonder,
she
guys.
leaks that we used to sext. And then dropped all the DMs in a Dropbox, violating the violating
sacredness.
the code that you don't leak DMs between content creators. So
wait, there's a code about that? Wait, what the fuck?
But yeah, but I'm the psychotic one who's dying on a hill and can't take the L. All this I'm already aware of, and then I get to open up chat and there are people spamming just take the L.
Ooh.
Okay, fine. No, sure. Yeah, fine. Okay.
Fine, guys.
Sure, fine. Okay,
Fucking
fine,
losers.
sure.
You guys don't even understand.
Okay.
She broke the creator code.
But you can read her Twitter thread if you want, but like, given how she's acted in the DMs we're looking at, do you really think she like represented my positions fairly in the Twitter thread, or understood anything that I said, or like anything, like that there's anything of worth in there? You can read them. All the DMs are public. I don't even need to speak for any of this. It's all public. It's all visible.
Fuck me. I fucked up.
All this is public.
Ugh. What the
A bit weird she randomly revealed you guys used to sext. Yeah, I don't know why. It is very strange and highly inappropriate to just drop that unprompted for something years in the past and also just leak a bunch of DMs. But
that's basically
you know
sexual
what?
assault.
She's hot and she's got big tits. So you know what? I'll take the W. Thanks, all right? You're a stupid, abusive asshole, Kat. But thanks for that, I guess. All right? Okay.
Based.
So anyway. She says, I already told you I didn't read your messages. And I said, because the hypothetical is about an entirely different subject. I'm getting concerned for your well-being. And then she says, because the hypothetical seeks to defend what you've said. She thinks the hypothetical is about defending the misogyny. She literally doesn't. This is what I mean about like reading comprehension or like basic intelligence. I don't know how to work through something like this. Does that make any sense? Like, I don't know if there's anything that I can say to work through this. It's not about defending misogyny. It's about how you treat a big drama situation when you're being attacked by conservatives for like and being used as a like being straw man to serve their points, but you also did something mildly problematic. And then I said something totally true. I said, at no point during this convo ever have I been defending misogyny. Which is true.
True.
We've read through every DM. We even looked at the ones that were left in the DMs.
True, Vaush.
I never did. And she said, lol, now you're just being weird and ableist. I'm doing quite well. Because I said I'm being concerned for her well-being. And then I said, I mean, I could accuse you of lying. Then she said, it's very weird and gaslighting for you to act like I'm suddenly unstable because I don't think you should be misogynistic to defend trans folks, lol.
Ooh. Damn.
Okay, but would it be ableist to say this is like schizophrenic? It's like there's a separate set of like DMs she's receiving from another person.
Embrace it.
She's responding. She's reading those and responding to this. Somewhere, so there's another set of DMs she's getting in her head. Yeah, you're right. This is being very mean to schizophrenic people. Anyway, go ahead, accuse me of lying. I say, Kat, you're trying to gaslight me. She says, define gaslighting for me. Fucking weird thing to say. We both know what it means. And then I say, you keep insisting this convo is about defending misogyny. You're impugning me for not saying things I have said to you. And she said, then what's it about? What is it about? Explain it succinctly. And then I say, scroll up. I don't know, Kat. I've typed it out like 4 times.
Damn.
And she says, I'm okay. We've already established my reading comprehension sucks. So maybe I'd appreciate it if you broke it down into smaller words for me. If you have a significant other who acts like this, please break up with them. I'm begging you.
Ooh.
And then I say, what? So you can accuse me of being condescending or ableist or racist? It's been typed. I think this is a fair thing to say. She accused me of being condescending for disagreeing with her at all, like as a concept. She accused me of being ableist for pointing out that, I mean, I don't know. Are you well? Like, I don't care. Whatever. Then she said, all right, I'll read it when I get a chance. Right. I said way earlier that I'm happy to explain everything I believe, but I don't want to do so if you're not going to care about it or pay attention to any of it. I can't believe I'm still trying at this point. She says, yeah, randomly saying you're concerned for my well-being is pretty ableist.
Ooh.
Okay. That's actually the only solid thing I've said about you in any other context. I've said you've engaged in isms, but didn't say you were exactly someone who was racist or misogynistic? She hasn't said I'm
What?
Okay. She accused me of talking out both sides of my mouth. I said, I have foolishly fallen for the meme yet again. Again, I'm talking to myself mostly right now. I think this marks the change in the conversation where I start trying less, which, frankly, it's about time. She says, I don't know how much more clear I could have been about not caring about your explanation. Because again, this was never a conversation I had about you specifically and explicitly.
Oh no.
If you read the very first post...
Contra blocked Vaush. Oh no. Oh no, the Vaush bridge. Maybe it's just temporary.
I made about your tweets, it starts with completely ignoring who said this because it's not about you, but you want to make it about you. And
we need a destiny in moderation.
Kat,
True.
and your behavior, which is harming trans people, she says.
Does Contra still follow you on Twitter? I don't know if she ever followed this account on Twitter or not.
Easy to understand post for my
maybe
poor reading comprehension to process. How else am I supposed to?
Ooh, straw man voice.
I will scroll up later and respond to your lengthy post because you clearly care so much. I say, it is about neither me nor misogyny. And she says, I don't think
Final
you're even
tweet about
able
Vaush.
to demonstrate.
Because it's maddening to watch you pose as the savior of the transgenders, then do edgy misogyny in the name of that, and finally melt down. We already read this. Finally melt down when a trans woman who knows more than you about this criticizes you for it. Damn.
Demonstrate that harm, but I can quickly show you how your tweets are currently being weaponized against trans people not even trying very hard. I'll read it when I get a chance. And then I say, also, you don't need to. And then I repeat the same hypothetical over again. And then I say, answer this and explain why you arrived at that answer. She says, no, no, no. You asked me politely, so I'm going to. I've already answered that. Scroll up. Then I said, no, you explicitly did not. It's yes, no. Just type yes or no. It's less effort than any other response you can give. She says, your premise is flawed. I say, that's not an answer. The question doesn't state the parallel. So the point that I'm making here is that you can answer that hypothetical, but then with a yes or a no, but then go on to say, but I don't think it compares to this example. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I got you.
Like, you can answer the hypothetical and then say, but I don't think that it's that it compares to what you've done, but you still have to answer the hypothetical. The hypothetical is holistic. It's right here. There's nothing about this premise that you can't. Yeah. And she says, come up with a better hypothetical that's more accurate and I'll give you a yes or no answer. And I say, I'm asking in a vacuum. And then I say, wait, do you not think that happens? She says, don't be condescending. I say, you won't answer because your answer is no, because we both agree. She says, yeah, I've already explained why it's a bad premise. I said, incorrect. You jumped ahead and attacked the inferred association. I don't know why I'm using words like this. I know she doesn't. Yeah. She says, all right, I guess we both suck at reading comprehension then. I say, not the premise of the central question. She says, would you like me to explain why the premise is correct? And then I say, there is no attacking that premise, because there isn't, not of the central hypothetical. And she says, because to answer your question, I've actually already devoted a lot of time to calling out misogyny.
It feels really weird that Vaush is getting this much backlash when the joke was kind of mild. Yeah, the problem, though, is that the joke went ultra mainstream, right? You're actually getting engagement by JK Rowling, but then the engagement is literally misogyny, which is like what trans communities get accused of all the time. That's why I'm saying that, like I feel bad for Vaush a little here, because the joke wasn't that bad. It's just that the kind of joke that ended up going mainstream was just like the worst possible thing, kind of. Like, and then when mainstream articles get written about it, he looks really unhinged. Because all the articles now are just like, suspected pedophile enabler Vaush tells women to just be quiet when JK Rowling states somewhat reasonable opinion on Twitter. It basically just is fucked, yeah.
Music, and then I say, oh Christ.
Wait, what did I just click?
Understand. Is this deliberate? She says, no, I understand what you're trying to say and I disagree with the premise of the question. And I say, I have to assume this is deliberate. I'm mostly talking to myself still. She says, you're comparing your unnecessary misogyny and your advocacy to song lyrics and some racist opinion about said lyrics. It's not a good premise. So, what? Oh, right here. What's up?
I want my water.
Oh, you left the water. Yeah. Didn't empty my pockets until after we got back.
Uh-oh.
Anyway,
his roommates are
we're at
rebelling.
least halfway through this. We're almost to the meme portion, okay? We're almost there, folks. If we're gonna go through these, I'm gonna make sure I don't want Kat to get away with a 100-tweet thread that makes me look bad and nobody look at the DM she leaked when the DMs make it pretty clear that she's like monstrously fucking abusive and I did literally nothing wrong here. Anyway, are you guys miscommunicating / talking past each other? It's her part, probably deliberately. I'm not talking past her at all, okay? I'm punching a brick wall right now, okay? I'm levying an overwhelming assault against a cube of platinum. Like I'm not at fault here, okay? I am doing my best. Oh my god. I hope you guys can agree with me. There is literally nothing that I can do at this point ever to get her to understand what the hypothetical is meaning to demonstrate. There is no series of words I could type out, no amount of time I could spend. There's nothing, literally nothing that I could do. It is impossible. You know what I mean? That is the way I feel, and I'm extremely confident that is the case.
Okay, this guy's linked this tweet like 50 times, okay? This better be a funny tweet. I don't know that guy. I don't even know what you're linking me. Good one, dude.
Okay.
Scroll up. I can't scroll up.
Anyway. Then I say, very few things frustrate me. She says, well, I told you several times you should probably not care about my opinion, so feel free to log off whenever. I say, oh my God, this is definitely deliberate. She says, no, you just think you're so much more intelligent than I am, and it's very entertaining to me. I'm not even entirely sure what I'm supposed to read from this. Exactly. But my response, now we're getting back into it. I will assume either legitimate cognitive problems or deliberate malicious bad faith. Kat, you don't have to be smart to not do what you're doing. And she says your premise is bad faith and you clearly don't actually care for an explanation about why your premise is flawed. So what are we even here to talk about? Enjoy getting oh, sorry. I thought this said I enjoy getting trans people hurt. And I was like, wait, hold on. That doesn't make me look good. And I said, enjoy getting trans people hurt, I suppose. And I was thinking for a second, why would I type that?
Yeah,
you know,
why?
I've been doing so well, and that really undermines my point. Chris Reagan's YouTube chat. Hey, Chris Reagan. It's drama. What day is it? Tuesday? Drama Tuesday. Anyway, she says, lol, you're being a baby. I honestly would not have expected you to be this way. Like, it's quite literally petulant child behavior.
Ooh.
And I say, Kat, you just admitted you're trolling me because you think it's funny that I think I'm smarter than you. You're acting like a tween 4chaner.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah. And she says, yes, because it's hilarious to me. It's absolutely hilarious that a she means a cis, white man genuinely believes he has a superior understanding of what is good and not good for a trans person when he quite literally does not live with being transgender.
Ooh,
so this is what we're dealing
Jesus.
with. She thinks that, like, at a fundamental intrinsic level, it's
all the
impossible
insults are
for
coming out, guys.
her to be wrong on an issue like that. She's not even taking the light version of this argument, which is like, maybe we should give more credence to trans women on trans issues. This is explicitly the idea that a cis person could ever be right where I am wrong on these issues is hilarious.
Tsunami in Japan right now?
And she says, it's an arrogant thing to even vaguely start to say. If you genuinely believe that me advocating against your ironic misogyny is harming trans folks, I'm comfortable with you thinking that's because because it's wrong. Then I say, see, this is it precisely. She continues, and I've spent most of my life helping trans people. I have more investment in this convo than you do, and you being dismissive in this way is quite shitty. You're asking me to respect you, and you clearly don't respect me. Not really. Holy shit. She's such a fucking...
Contrapoints his biggest L, at least from where I'm standing. I'm unmoved, will never cede to peer pressure, no matter who's pushing it. If we learn to cede arguments to public opinion, we will never ever win against the right. Bro, why are you... Anybody remember, Kenosha and Rittenhouse?
Fucking abuser, dude. Holy fuck. And I said, there is never any way at all to make you believe anything other than what you already believe because of your ego.
Fuck.
And she says, no, it's not really even my ego, it's my experience. I say, the idea of learning something white from a white cis boy is too much for you. Even hearing one out, really. She says, I don't have an eagle around the work I do. I don't know what that means. But I'm not going to believe that you are a person who has the ability to decide whether or not the things I do are good or bad for the trans community. Ego? Ego. It must be ego. That's right. Yeah. And I say, you've been projecting so much insecurity onto me throughout this conversation. She says, you're not a part of the community. Maybe send one of your friends over who is trans and to explain it to me and I'll hear it. This is weird.
That's a little weird.
She's doing speech to text, I think. That's cheating. This is really gross. Send over a trans to talk with me and maybe I'll hear you out. This is legitimately really fucking tokenizing. Like, this is disgusting. I legitimately think this is incredibly disgusting.
Oof.
Like explicitly transphobic, you know?
Yes.
Like, yeah, I don't know. And then I say, through racial essentialism, no less, thank goodness I'm not as racist as you. She says, lol, when did I say you were racist? And I say, thankfully for me and the people who listen to me, I am actually capable of hearing out criticisms from others, no matter their skin color or background. I know how liberal. She says, lol. I say it doesn't wound my ego.
Lol.
And, okay.
Lol
I think
W.
you guys get the tone of the conversation for a little while. You get it. Basically, she will never accept criticisms from a non-cis person. I'm abusive for saying that I disagree with her. I'm sorry. You can read through this if you want. It's all public. I want to get to the point that I wanted to make, okay? Believe what you like, Kat. People so arrogant they think it's impossible for them to be a bad advocate because they're part of the group they're advocating for are very vulnerable to turning bad.
Ooh.
Like all those second-wave feminists who became TERFs. Pride cometh before the fall and all that.
Damn.
She says it's not impossible for her to become a bad advocate, and then she says, my understanding of trans life is informed by experience when yours is only formed by opinion.
And debate.
And she says, continue.
What is up with these shitty
I'm
chats?
constantly advocating against the ways in which cis people's opinions of us limit our ability to move through the world comfortably and safely. Remember, no matter what she says, remember her real argument is that she cannot be wrong to a cis person. No matter what she types out, her real belief is, if cis people disagree with her on trans issues, they are wrong fundamentally, and it's an insult for them to even think of disagreeing with her. It doesn't matter what else she says.
Thank God,
her real
yes.
position has been made clear. And then I said, I remember these arguments from my debate with Blair White. She types so fast, or speak types. I thought trans people didn't need surgery to be real members of their chosen gender, but I suppose that's really her field, and I should have listened to her. And now I get to have the bitch voice. And she says, lol, who said that? You are an openly cis man attempting to speak over people who are transgender. And then I say, right, I tried to speak over Blair White, a trans woman. Should I not have listened to her? But, and this is incredible, she is too stupid to understand what I'm doing here. She says, that is absolutely nothing to do with your state of transition. You're a man and a cis one, and you said that several times. I want you to think of this response for a second. I want you to think of this response and what it must mean is going on in her mind in response to what I just said.
Get him, Vaush. Get him, M. I'm not misgendering anybody.
I don't
Demon
know
mama.
either.
In case you're listening.
This is just a glitch. This is a cognitive failing. I don't understand the thought process. All I know is that she's not understanding. That's it. That's all I can get from this.
Isn't she like non-binary and very femme presenting? I wouldn't put her in the same Wait. Is the cat... No, the cat person must be male to female. Is the cat person just non-binary? No, you're right. Okay, yeah. What do you mean? Okay, whoever said that in chat, you were just wrong on. The cat person is M to F trans person.
Anyway.
Cat is a woman. Thank you for the virtue signal. That doesn't really answer any of our questions, though. Okay.
It continues. She says, it's also very condescending that you think I believe people can't be criticized because of their identity or who they are. That's never an argument I've made. What I've said is that you are not in a position to where you actually have lived experiences that would inform what is good or not good for trans people. You can listen to whoever you want. Personally, it wouldn't shock me if you advocated for her positions. I'm also not very invested in that. And then I say, gotcha. Jesse Lee Peterson thinks black people were happier under Jim Crow. And he's actually lived under Jim Crow too. The dude's old. Can't really argue with that experience of his. Then she says, yeah, you're just strawmanning my position here. And I say, experience is better than opinions, no? She says, and also because I know you aren't very invested in conversations around race, well, Jim Crow is not good or helpful for black folks. But oftentimes people who make that argument make it for a reason.
Oh, this is that black separatist stuff. They're like, oh, well, when we had our own businesses and our own money and our own blah, 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 you know. So that's what she's referring to.
Obama.
True, that too.
Why
can I not evolve any of my weapons?
There were people
I'm getting
in chat
fucked.
telling me to take the L on this. I legitimately believe that this level of inability... I'm Cat Black.
Don't... Vaush,
Jesse
why
Lee
would you
Peterson
do
had
this?
a point. Yeah. Okay. And the biggest ones being that financially, black folks were able to have more economic power. Under Jim Crow. Is she just thinking of like Black Wall Street?
Evolved
like,
garlic steals hearts.
There's nuance here.
Thank you.
But
wait,
no,
holy shit.
No. Holy shit, Lady Antifa, it's a miracle you haven't been banned before. Holy shit, you've been such a dumbass in chat. Jesus Christ.
Get him, Vaush.
You're too debate-brained. Holy fuck. I'm sorry that you agree with JLP that, Jim Crow had a point, okay? That's on you. And then for the first time in this convo, well, not the first time, but these are real question marks right here, folks. These are real, honest-to-God, sincere question marks.
Can you get into that
You've
room
actually
or no?
made me... I am actually confused. I do not know. Look it up. Okay. So we've got JK Rowling has a point when she says trans women are misogynistic, and also people who defend Jim Crow have a point. All right. Then I say, I've heard Jim Crow was good from...
Based Vaush tweets. The Virgin video essay who deletes every tweet which receives any pushback versus a chat debate bro who would rather burn his entire career and reputation to the ground than allow someone to balloon to believe me something correct in my home mind. Dude, Vaush is losing it.
Black people. And she said, I can't believe this. Did you hear their explanations or did you just dismiss them? And
On
then
this
I
map, you
said,
can pick up
I
more
listened.
passive items?
But at the
Wait,
time,
past
I
the
arrogantly
6? Really?
assumed that I, as a white man, had an opinion worth listening to. Jesse Lee Peterson says black people are inherently stupider and less responsible than white people, so it's best they be kept in line a bit. That sounded bad to me too, but...
Oh, shit.
I'll follow up on that, but here's what she has to say. Perhaps your issue is that you work in a very this or that mentality. This
Can you
is
upgrade
in
them
response
too?
to whether Jim Crow is bad and whether black people are inherently stupider and less responsible than white people. Which is why you want me to have a yes or no answer to a poorly formed hypothetical. I tend to listen to people who disagree with me and try to understand why they feel the way they do. Take this back to the conversation. JK Rowling has spoken pretty openly about her experience with misogyny and domestic abuse, and that's a very commonly shared thing expressed among many radical feminists who oppose trans women specifically. And then she says, and so what I tend to do is hear that trauma, and instead of trying to invigorate it or poke at it, I acknowledge that it exists, and it's there for a reason.
Fuck. So, okay, I think this cat person is pretty dumb, but she hits on points that are true, which makes it sound like she has experience in this area that Vaush, I guess due to his lack of experience, just isn't aware. But that's like a pretty common trope from TERF people, that they've had bad experiences with men, or even, you know, worst case scenarios, have been raped or abused by men, and that's one of the reasons why they're pushed towards these TERFy attitudes. They view trans women as being invaders, as being people that don't have the same lived experiences as them, right? Like, you want to say trans women are women? You got to live as a man for 18 years. I was sexually abused when I was 12 years old because my tits came in early. How are you trying to say that you're a woman like me, right? These are TERF arguments for why trans people ought to be excluded. And Kat seems to be aware that these are things that TERFs say. You have to be aware of that. And when you play into that, like, oh, well, fuck women, who cares anyway, then you kind of unintentionally feed a lot of their bigger talking points. But I just, the biggest problem here, it's really sad to say this, and I hate to say this, but there's that one black woman, fuck, who was it, that was on TV, and she's like, sometimes white people just need to shut up and listen. This is one of those moments where Vaush just needed to sit and listen to what, like, the context of this conversation is. And I think he could have picked up on that a little bit better, but yeah, he doesn't seem to be aware of that, so he's never going to catch any of that context for what's going on around here.
Kat Black's explicit point is that when bigots say that they're being hurt by minority groups, you should listen to their trauma and acknowledge that it's there for a reason.
That's absolutely true. That's now, I'm curious if these people like Kat also apply this to conservatives and other things, but there's like I don't know where I heard this sentence. I think it was recently. I don't even remember who I heard it from. I might have even heard it from Brittany. I don't remember. Nothing is an accident. Nobody acts. There's no randomness in human behavior. When people act certain ways, there are reasons why. It's not an accident. It's not random. People act in ways for reasons. It's good to know those reasons. Just know that.
This person was lambasting me about being a bad advocate for trans
Why
people.
did I get this bird fucking item? Fuck!
And then I said, there I and my white boy opinions go again, after saying it sounds bad that JLP says black people are inherently stupider and stuff.
Oh, thank God. We got some item upgrades.
Think about it. JK Rowling is
It's good when you have the black one too. I can't fit the black one in my inventory.
You're in women's spaces. You, Kat, far be it from me to believe my silly little old man opinions can stand up to the titanic weight of JK Rowling's lived experience, which you can say this is cunty if you like, but this is the argument she's making, is it not? Is this not the explicit argument she's making? If anything, I'm being kind of repetitive because she just typed out a defense of J.K. Rowling's
It's not a defense. Vaush is being really dense here. It's not a defense. It's just being aware of why they feel the way they feel. This is actually really insightful from Kat. Why you don't link me the same tweet that I've already fucking read? Jesus Christ, guys.
Phobia. So if anything, she's kind of like one-upping.
Garlic is a noob trap, by the way. Is it? The combined garlic item seems based. Is this actually a shit item? What the fuck? This seems awesome.
And proving how bigoted she is. You know what I mean? Like she's sort of I'm like trying to race to point out how bad her arguments are, and she's like, no, hold on, I'm already there before you. Yeah, I think J.K. Rowling is right. You know, it's like, okay, I don't have to spell anything out. You know, she's doing it for me. Then she says, lol. Notice how she doesn't repudiate what she said. Again, you're treating your misogyny as
when
necessary,
you run ends, you'll get your DPS stats.
Defending it.
Okay, we'll see at the end.
Where? Who? Askers? Where? What? I apologize to schizophrenic people who are going to get unfairly lumped in with this behavior, okay? I don't know why you couldn't say TERF should shut up or JK Rowling specifically should shut up, but you went for the most easy lowbrow thing you could go for, which was her sex, which is quite literally the thing that she's advocating for, so it was quite silly on your part. And then I say, huh? I'm listening to you. I'm prioritizing lived experience over my opinions. Oh. She didn't respond to anything said. And by the way, yeah, for her sex is a, yeah. Then she says, I would never ever argue that you should always listen to people just because of their identity. What I will say is that those who actually live with the repercussions of racism, sexism, etc., should probably be the ones who lead those debates and have those conversations. I agree with this. I've never said otherwise ever. I've said that. Yeah, okay. You don't actually care about that, and I don't think you're understanding that. That's part of the issue. And the fact that you've consistently ignored me saying that to make some silly hypothetical really does tell me how invested you are in this conversation. Because there's no way that you've been able to research the past 30 years of transgender existence and their rights and their access without understanding that our lives...
Okay, hold on. Does anybody... Okay, I'm sorry. It's because it's... Normally I wouldn't care, but it's a little relevant how much Kat keeps bringing this up. Is Kat is trans because she's a non-binary woman, or is she like a male to female trans person? Is there like an actual answer? Has she stated this, or Kat is AMAP? Okay, just making sure. All right, sorry, just being sure on that.
Drastically limited because of cis people's opinions of where we should and shouldn't be in society. Why you would satirize? That is quite confusing to me if you claim to be supportive of trans folks. Okay, is it ableist to say this is at least schizo posting?
Damn, Vaush going
And
full
I say,
ableist.
doesn't JK Rowling live with the consequences of her trauma and existing in women's spaces? I guess it's okay she's leading that conversation then. Also, don't ask me for my understanding of the research. I'd have to have an opinion to draw conclusions from that. And then she says, why are you actually asking if a woman lives with the repercussions of her trauma? That is what she got from this. She thought this was an actual question and not a rhetorical question. This question, she read this question and thought it was an actual question about whether or not people can have trauma from the lives they live. This is the issue that I have. Being transgender is so much more about existing in women's spaces and whatever bullshit she's advocating for, that you detach the experience of misogyny from transgender women's experiences speaks volumes to me. When I say, Kat, I'm just letting the people with a lived experience lead the conversation. She says, I've spoken very openly about my experience with trauma. Why wouldn't I be empathetic towards a woman, even a bad one, who's experienced misogyny? And then I say, well, according to her, you're the one oppressing her. Who do I listen to? And then she says, yeah, and she's wrong. And guess what? Telling her to shut up as a woman doesn't actually help her argument. I say, how is she wrong? Because again, the only consistent argument that she's delivered so far is that experiences are more important than opinions. So JK Rowling does claim that trans women are actually men and that they're abusing and like characterizing and exploiting women by pretending to be women. That's JK Rowling's argument. So should I be listening to Kat Black then, since she is in this case the abuser and the oppressor? Like, this is the problem. The only way to answer this, the only way to really solve this problem is to point out that I need to have some kind of independent decision-making ability, which allows me to determine whose arguments are valid or invalid. But she can't do that without giving me free rein to disagree with her, because she is a person who I might have a disagreement with. I didn't expect her to be this bigoted, though, I have to say. We're almost done.
Bigoted.
She says, who do you listen to? Probably not her, because she's engaging in bad faith. I'm gonna keep it hundo with you guys. I actually think that in a bad faith off, Kat Black might actually, word for word, sentence for sentence, might actually stand a chance. That is a powerful competition right here. If we're talking bad faith, then whoo, that's a battle of the titans. Okay, that's some kaiju shit. Tokyo's gonna get wrecked. Oh God. But to poke fun at her very obvious experiences with trauma is really shitty of you. It's funny for Kat Black to say this, because according to JK Rowling, trans women existing is poking at her trauma. Trans women using women's restrooms is poking at JK Rowling's trauma. She's explicitly said that. She put out...
If I find an accumulator orb,
manifesto.
will it accumulate all the experience from the entire map, or is it just a few screens over? Like if I keep walking to its power up and I find one, will it get all the experience I've missed? Or also, how much longer is this Vaush shit? I'm done. Yes, whole map. Oh, okay, cool. Come over here, Mr. Transformer guy.
Anyway... if she keeps that up now out of spite, that would be very funny. But it would probably also mean the bridge is burned. Anyway, then I say it's her experience. She says, and again, if you're not defending the misogyny, I'm confused by why you take issue with this, because her brain is soup. And then I say, wait, hold it. She says, do you think the survivors of domestic abuse in your audience feel good when you exert misogyny against her?
Evolution's only come out of chess, not XP.
But doing so in a way which services the arguments of JK Rowling is really, really bad. Especially because I'd be willing to bet most of the people in my audience who experience trauma surrounding gender issues are trans women who probably, at least on some level, just kind of like JK Rowling being upset. But anyway... I say, I have trans women friends who say the misogyny was good. And that's true, I do. Close friends of mine for years who are trans women who explicitly defend the misogyny. Not even my broader point, but the misogyny. And then I say, who am I supposed to listen to? And then she says, and this is that SpongeBob manta ray meme. Like, she says... I think it's really stupid you think there's a consensus amongst any minority group about all things. What? That's...
What?
That's my point. That... this invalidates your...
What?
Anyway.
Contra liked this tweet. Do you agree with this?
If you read my first post I made about you, explicitly asked for the opinions of trans women and plenty of trans women.
There's no such thing as a white person doing an ironic racism on a black person in the middle of an argument, and there's no such thing as a man doing ironic sexism on a woman in the same context. If the subject of your irony is your opponent's race or gender, it's not irony at all. I mean, if you apply this backwards as well, then maybe, but I don't know.
Who agreed with you and defended your misogyny, debated with me publicly. I think that those conversations are far more productive because obviously trans people have multiple ways of thinking about things. Okay, congratulations all trans people, you now have multi-threading activated in your cerebral cortex, okay? I'm sorry, I'm honestly disappointed that us poor sissies can't keep up with you, alright? But you fuckers are overclocking, okay? By default, all of you are on like level 2, okay? You don't even need any of the new overpriced graphics cards that are being jacked up in price by Bitcoin farmers, okay? Okay? You just need to plug like an aux cable into your ear and you'll be able to like simulate the shit. Not an aux cable, what, an HDMI cable? Yeah, HDMI cable. Let's go with that, okay?
Okay.
Possible demon on a subtweet.
Uh-oh.
It could be a subtweet, but I can't get mad at this. I refuse to be mad at this, and I'm not mad at this. Like, it could be a subtweet, but, like, can you imagine me having the audacity to get mad at this? Like, yeah.
The audacity.
Like and retweet? Oh, shit, you're right.
Liken.
That's how you deal with subtweets. Gotta lean on into them. Lean on into them. You know what's shitty?
What?
Why would Big Joel step into my tweets to why would Big Joel step into my tweets to say like, hey, it was shitty of you to post this screenshot from 3 years ago, but Big Joel has, to my knowledge, not done so for any of the larger lefty creators when they call me a pedophile? Like, I know
am I supposed to do something with this coffin?
Moots have done that. Like, oh, when I point out that, you know, Kat Black, a trans advocate, encouraged a trans teen to kill themselves, like, that's out of hat after what Kat Black has treated me like. But like other lefties,
wait, oh my god, I just about died
online, like when they clip me out of context to lie about my positions to call me a pedo, like that's okay. Well, you forgot you're not in the club. Yep. He was saying it was hypocritical of you. I don't think it is, for reasons that I'm happy to elaborate on soon. Anyway, again, I've been doing this work for over a decade. Insecurity, blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
And then I said, Kat, I don't understand anything you're typing out. Oh, wait, contra response? I was about to do my bitchy voice.
Wow, cool. Okay, wrap it up, Domi.
I'm the proof when I'm in the booth, spitting on the mic. Anti-vax, Putin hates all of them blacks. Putin is a bad racist. Put him in the ground, white or brown. And I'm in Plano town. And you know you just got found. I'm a pimp on a blimp. Unless a steak and shrimp. It's a steak and shrimp.
Z-Gram said, thank you, Mayor Muns. I appreciate the time. Peace. God bless you all.
This is the guy from Dylan's stream. Do you remember? Hold on, I'm gonna start my oven 1 second.
I'm the proof when I'm in the booth, spitting on the mic. Anti-vax, Putin hates all of them blacks. Putin is a bad racist. Put him in the ground, white or brown. And I'm in Plano town. And you know you just got found. I'm a pimp on a blimp. Unless a steak and shrimp. No, you can't stop my shine. I'm number 99. And you know I grind and shine. And you know I do it all the time. One more time, I'm teaching class. This is your whole pass. Zelensky is a VIP. Ukraine and I go insane. Put a bullet in Putin's brain. You know that is the plan. I'm a Zelensky stan. I love you. Vladimir Zelensky, you are so smart. What's the smell? Did somebody fart? No way. What can you say? Vaccinate me straight or gay. I love you, and I love to rhyme and grind all the time. And you got that sanitizer, and you know I got that Pfizer. You know I stick it in my vein. Put a bullet in Putin's brain. Do it for the Ukraine. Before I go insane, let me antibacterial my body at the party. Sipping Bacardi, you know the flow. And I am a pimp, cause I am on the blimp. Eating lots of steak and shrimp. One more time, I 99. And you know I grind and shine. Gas price is way too high. Vladimir Putin needs to die. Gas price is way too high. Vladimir needs to die. I'm the truth in the booth. Take my picture. I'm a winner. I'ma eat you for dinner. Okay.
You want to go to?
I just want to say,
I love you. We need to take out Vladimir Putin, like Lindsey Graham said. Thank you, Mayor Mullins. I appreciate the time. Peace. God bless you all. Prime time's down on Instagram. Thank you.
We got you down. We got you down.
The next speaker is Brian Wellington.
I'm the
Good job, guys.